Chapter 240. The sword gleam stunned the passage of time. It was indescribable. It was as if everything in the world had been annihilated by this sword. The eyes of the golden-winged saber-toothed tiger, the white jade dragon elephant, and the other forbidden patriarchs widened silently. They were filled with extreme horror and despair. They didn't expect that they would be facing such a terrifying move. This move was too despairing. First, the golden-winged saber-toothed tiger. All of its attacks were reduced to nothing in the attack of time. Not only that, its physical body was also annihilated in the void inch by inch under the sword gleam of time. It was as if the golden-winged saber-toothed tiger had experienced the passage of time in an instant. Its physical body was reduced to ashes. The white jade dragon elephant, who saw this scene with its own eyes, let out a roar of horror. It wanted to break free and escape, but it was too late. Its body, which was as thick as a small mountain, was also annihilated inch by inch and turned into ashes. "No, I hate it!" The white jade dragon elephant let out a hoarse roar of indignation. It was the master of the primordial divine mountain in the lower realm. It was tyrannical and dominated the continent. Not to mention death, even the last time it was injured was a distant memory. But now, looking at the spotless white-robed young master in front of it, the white jade dragon elephant was filled with despair and indignation. It would never have thought that it would fall in the hands of this young junior. After the golden-winged saber-toothed tiger and the white jade dragon elephant, the other forbidden beings of the divine mountain were also reduced to ashes. Not only that, but the divine mountains, such as the heavenly tiger divine mountain, the white jade divine mountain, the blazing divine mountain, and so on, were also reduced to ashes by the sword gleam. There was no earth-shattering collision. There was no explosion that shook the world. There were only the divine mountains that were silently annihilated. There were also the divine mountain beings that were silently annihilated. They were blown away by the wind like weathered mountain rocks. After the sword gleam, the towering primordial divine mountain no longer existed. As far as the eye could see, the primordial divine mountain had become a sunken basin. All the primordial divine mountains and all the primordial beings were reduced to ashes by the sword gleam. One sword gleam had annihilated the divine mountain. The surrounding human cultivators who had rushed over all stood rooted to the ground, as if they had lost their souls. Their eyes were glazed over. It's gone. The primordial divine mountain is completely gone? A human cultivator muttered absent-mindedly, as if he had fallen into a dream. It's really gone. The primordial divine mountain, the mountain that has been pressing down on the backs of us human cultivators, is finally gone. After a brief moment of dead silence, the human clan cultivators began to cheer. They were extremely excited and overjoyed. The primordial divine mountain was like a sword hanging over the heads of the human cultivators. And today, this sword had been completely shattered by Jun Xiaoyao. In addition to the human cultivators, even progenitor Dongxian, Gu Yuan, and the two Dao protectors of the Jiang clan were stunned too. Wasn't this too ferocious? At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's body trembled slightly and he frowned. He cut off the connection with the fallen holy body. It seems that it will be difficult to connect with the fallen holy body in the future. Jun Xiaoyao sighed in his heart. Just now, he had already achieved a perfect resonance with the fallen holy body, which was why he was able to fully unleash the power of the fallen holy body. However, in the future, he should not have the chance to control the fallen holy body anymore. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not feel that it was a pity. The fallen holy body was just a tool for him. Although it was useful, if he used it for a long time, he would become dependent on it. This was not a good thing. Jun Xiaoyao believed in his own strength the most. He put away the fallen holy body and the coiling Emperor Time sword. Looking at the primordial divine mountain that had turned into a basin in front of him, Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. This display of strength should be enough, right? 5200 Jun Xiaoyao also knew that although the primordial divine mountain in the lower realm was also a chess piece to the Archean royalty, it was still a valuable chess piece. It was not like the ancient demon clan and the ancient demon clan, who were chess pieces that could be discarded at will. If the primordial divine mountain was destroyed, the Archean royalty would feel the pinch and lose face. This was the price the Archean royalty had to pay for provoking the Jun family. Sigh, what a waste of so many ingredients. Jiang Luoli puffed up her cheek. Golden-winged saber-toothed tiger, white jade dragon elephant, and so on were all excellent ingredients. Isn't there one left? Jun Xiaoyao looked at the corpse of the flaming saint. After the flaming saint died, his true form was revealed. It was a fiery bird covered in scarlet. Let me roast it! Jiang Luoli cheered. Her little face was full of joy as she sharpened her knife and charged at the fiery bird. This was a creature at the level of a saint. Its flesh and blood essence was very rich, comparable to great flesh and blood medicine. Some of the human cultivators were dumbfounded. What kind of ferocious people were these? A forbidden creature of the primordial divine mountain, at the top of the lower realm, had been reduced to an ingredient. However, they were also very grateful and came forward to express their gratitude. Many thanks, Son of God. You've taken care of a great threat for the human cultivators of the myriad continent. Yes, these creatures of the primordial divine mountain slaughtered us humans without restraint. Today, they finally got what they deserved. These human cultivators expressed their sincere thanks. Jun Xiaoyao's actions had done a great deed for the human cultivators of the myriad continent. It was nothing, no need to thank me. The myriad continent will be ruled by the ancient divine clan in the future. They will not oppress the human factions as they wish, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yes, the Son of God is the hero of the human race of the myriad continent, a human cultivator said excitedly. Jun Xiaoyao didn't comment. He had no intention of becoming a hero. He was just collecting a debt. However, these human cultivators would obviously spread the news. Not only that, they would write a biography. The matter of Jun Xiaoyao destroying the primordial divine mountain would become a legend that would be passed down forever in the myriad continent. Big brother Xiaoyao, the meat is done. Come and eat, or I'll eat it all. Jiang Luoli called out to Jun Xiaoyao. The flamingo was already done roasting. The meat was tender and sizzling with oil. Rich life essence filled the air, and a fragrant aroma filled the air. One bite was comparable to a saint medicine. This was the flesh of a saint, and its value was astonishing. At this moment, Jiang Luoli's little mouth was dripping with oil. Her sparkling face was like a little kitten. Jun Xiaoyao walked over with a faint smile. It wasn't bad to relax after a great battle. Here, big brother Xiaoyao, this is the biggest chicken drumstick, no, bird drumstick. Here you go. Jiang Luoli handed over the flamingo drumstick. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and was about to take it when he suddenly saw that there was a hole in the fleshy part of the drumstick. There was a row of fine and neat teeth marks. This. Jun Xiaoyao was slightly taken aback. Hee, I'm just helping big brother Xiaoyao taste if it's cooked. I'm definitely not trying to eat the fleshy part. Jiang Luoli smiled with a red face, shaking her head like a rattledrum. Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. He then called out to Yu, Yan Qingying, and the others to eat as well. As for old ancestor Dongxian and the others, they were saints, so eating this didn't have much effect on them. Big brother Xiaoyao, how long are you going to stay in this lower realm? Jiang Luoli probed as she ate. She was afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would return to the immortal region soon, and the two of them wouldn't be able to stay together for long. There are still the most important things I haven't done, Jun Xiaoyao said. His current goals of eliminating the 10 great sinners and finding Jun Wanjie's sister had already been accomplished. However, there were still other important things. The second volume of the physique scripture of the 9 great heavenly tomes, the crack of the 10 worlds, the altar of martyrs, and the origin of the other worlds. Jun Xiaoyao had a feeling that the heaven-defying children of the other continents had already started fighting with each other, and had begun to devour each other's fortunes and fortunes. It was like raising goo. A goo king would definitely appear in the end. Chapter 241. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's reply, Jiang Luoli let out a sigh of relief. At least she could spend some time with her beloved big brother Xiaoyao. The news of the destruction of the ancient divine mountains spread like wildfire across the entire Wanxiang continent. The Archean royalty of the Huangtian mystic realm naturally heard the news as well. Rumor had it that several branches of the Archean royalty were in an uproar and angry voices were heard. However, they didn't cause too much of a commotion, because the incident with the Supreme of the Fallen God Palace was still fresh in their minds. Perhaps if you roared in anger, the Jun family's patriarch's sword would immediately slash at you. However, it was clear that Jun Xiaoyao's destruction of the ancient divine mountain had indeed angered the Archean royalty. Not only did they lose valuable chess pieces, but they also lost face. However, within a few days there was movement from Zulong. Princess Longji, who had previously fought against the first sequence of the Jun family, Jun Lingsong, was finally coming out after a long period of seclusion. This time, Princess Longji's aura had merged with the heaven and earth of this era. She would erupt with the most terrifying strength. When that time came, Princess Longji, in her full form, would definitely attack the son of God of the Jun family. This wasn't just Princess Longji's idea. It was also Zulong's idea. This was Zulong's revenge for Jun Xiaoyao's destruction of the ancient divine mountain in the lower realm. If Jun Xiaoyao avoided the battle, his invincible legend would collapse. All of his halos would dim. This would be a huge blow to Jun Xiaoyao's reputation. If he accepted the battle, then Jun Xiaoyao would have to face Princess Longji in her full strength. This was much more powerful than the Princess Longji Jun Lingsong faced before. The legend of the ancient freak wouldn't be so easily destroyed. When that time came, there would definitely be another fierce battle. In the immortal region, the news had already begun to spread. Many were looking forward to the battle between Jun Xiaoyao and Princess Longji after he returned to the mystic region. What kind of shocking battle would Jun Xiaoyao fight? Jun Xiaoyao, who was in the lower realm, did not know about this. Even if he knew, he would probably just laugh it off. In his eyes, Princess Longji was just that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have ignored Princess Longji's challenge. What Jun Xiaoyao cared about the most now was the second volume of the physique scripture, The Origin of the World, and the martyr altar in the crack of the 10 worlds. After destroying Sacred Mountain, Jun Xiaoyao and the others returned to the ancient god clan's residence. Jun Xiaoyao was not in a hurry. He quietly waited for the opportunity to arrive. About half a month later, Jun Xiaoyao, who was sitting cross-legged in the palace of the ancient god clan, suddenly felt something. He took out a sachet. He had obtained this sachet from the limitless Star-Lord. This was not an ordinary sachet, but a keepsake of the martyr's altar. With this token, Jun Xiaoyao would be able to find the entrance to the 10 realms rift. At this moment, the sachet was faintly emitting light, and a fragrance was also spreading out. It seemed to foretell a great change that was about to come. Is it finally coming? Jun Xiaoyao toyed with the sachet in his hand, his eyes unfathomable. Then, the entire myriad continent began to tremble. Great waves rose in the outer seas of the continent. Endless spiritual chi formed a storm and gathered in the depths of the void. What's going on? What's going on? Is it an earthquake? Impossible. I can feel the entire continent trembling. Countless living beings on the myriad continent were panic-stricken. However, this scene did not only occur on the myriad continent. The profound sky continent, the star continent, the hidden dragon continent, and the myriad continent, as well as the other continents, the entire 10 lands of the lower worlds were experiencing the same great change. Has the upheaval of the 10 realms truly begun? Some of the secluded experts on the various continents sighed. When the 10 heaven-defying children had appeared, the various factions had gone on a punitive expedition, the primeval divine mountain had rebelled, and the 10 great sinners had broken their seals. All of these events could be seen as part of the upheaval of the 10 realms. With each upheaval, countless beings would perish. But that wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that the 10 lands of the lower worlds were about to undergo a truly great change. And this great change had finally begun. If anyone could look down at the 10 lands of the lower worlds, they would be shocked to discover that the spiritual chi of the 10 lands of the lower worlds seemed to have turned into a vortex that was being sucked into the void. The spiritual chi of the 10 continents was rapidly decreasing. What's going on? Why is the spiritual chi of the world getting thinner and thinner? The heavens want us dead. The upheaval has begun. Cultivators were shouting all over the 10 realms. Sir, something seems to have happened to the continent. EU had come to report to Jun Xiaoyao at the ancient divine clan's encampment. I already know. Jun Xiaoyao stood up and walked out of the hall. He lifted his head and looked into the depths of the void, an indescribable light flickering in his eyes. Sir, what's going on? EU was rather confused. Do you know where the spiritual chi of the world is being sucked into? Jun Xiaoyao suddenly asked a question. EU doesn't know, EU said truthfully. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and said, if I'm not wrong, the spiritual chi of the 10 continents has probably been sucked into the crack of the 10 realms. The crack of the 10 realms. EU's eyes trembled. It could be said to be the most mysterious place in the lower world. It was the place where the space of the 10 lands of the lower worlds overlap. It was also the place where fate gathered. This kind of upheaval has happened more than once in history. After such a long time of accumulation, you can imagine how dense the spiritual chi of the world is in the crack of the 10 realms, Jun Xiaoyao said. EU's breathing quickened when he heard that. The spiritual chi of the 10 realms all gathered in one place. And it was not a one-time thing. It had been absorbed and accumulated over many times. One could imagine how dense the spiritual chi was. The crack of the 10 realms was probably an extremely rare land of treasures. In the era of great battles, the one who can seize the opportunity first will be qualified to fight for first place. And the opportunity in the crack of the 10 realms is the first opportunity. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes shone brightly. Although he had the system and was unparalleled in talent, he still had to work hard. Otherwise, he might be surpassed by other prodigies. In order to be undefeatable, I must obtain the great opportunity in the crack of the 10 realms. Jun Xiaoyao made up his mind. At the same time, on another continent 2 figures were looking at the sky. They were Ji Qingyi and Li Daoxian. It's finally starting. I have a feeling that the only way I can gather all the origins of the 10 realms is in the crack of the 10 realms. Li Daoxuan's eyes shone with ambition. At the side, Ji Qingyi's clear eyes revealed a thoughtful expression. Would Jun Xiaoyao go? At that time, if they met, would she and Li Daoxian be able to compete with Jun Xiaoyao? At the same time, on another continent, 2 figures were also looking up at the sky. They were the celestial demon cults Xiao Maxian and the ancient freak of the Samsara demon sect, Wang Chuan. It's about to begin. This is the greatest lucky chance in the lower realms. The reason I was buried in the lower realms for countless years was because I wanted to compete for this lucky chance. Wang Chuan's eyes were deep and profound. The power of Samsara surged around him. I'm about to meet big sister Qingyi. I wonder who her ally is? And there's also that strong and handsome little brother Xiaoyao. He should be going too. When the time comes, I'll have to test him out. As Xiao Maxian spoke, she blinked her bright eyes and licked her lips with her pink tongue. She was clearly a cute girl like Jiang Luoli, but she also had a seductive charm to her. She was pure and lustful. She was like a little temptress. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 242. At this moment, All the immortal domain geniuses in the 10 lands of the lower world were looking up at the sky. They also knew that the greatest opportunity in the lower world was about to arrive. This kind of opportunity, even in the immortal realm, was rarely seen in 10,000 years. Therefore, many immortal domain geniuses were eager to give it a try. On a certain continent, in a sacred ground, there was a chanting of scriptures and Buddhist chant. Countless living beings surrounded a Buddhist hall, worshipping a figure within the Buddhist hall with pious devotion. That figure was a handsome young monk wearing a golden kasaya. It was the Bodhisattva of the Little Western Paradise, Fahai. At this moment, a Buddha figure appeared behind him. However, that Buddha figure was faintly surrounded by blood-red light. At the same time, the power of faith gathered behind Fahai's head and turned into a divine ring. The chanting of countless living beings seemed to be coming from the divine ring. It was extremely mysterious. At a certain moment, Fahai opened his eyes and looked at the sky. There was a calm smile on his face and a blood-red light flashed in his eyes. "It's finally here. The greatest opportunity in the lower world," Fahai murmured in his heart. His expression was calm. During this period of time in the lower world, he had grown rapidly, and not only had he gathered the power of faith of all living beings, he had also completely unearthed the special constitution of his Buddha body and demon heart. Not only did he not suppress the demon heart, but he also unearthed the greatest power of the demon heart and merged it with his Buddha body. Buddha and demon as one, invincible. The current Fahai was very confident. If he faced Jun Xiaoyao again, he would definitely not be in such a sorry state like he was in the Heaven Dao Tower. "This ultimate opportunity belongs to me, Fahai." Fahai's eyes were filled with blood-red light. On another continent, in a land of opportunity, a bloody battle was breaking out. All the lower world geniuses were besieging one person. That person was wearing the pitch-black heavenly horn divine armor, and was holding the sharp divine spear of death. At the same time, there was a vast and endless sword intent in his body, shattering the void around him. His spear pierced out, directly piercing through the chests of several prodigies. In just a few moments, all the geniuses in this land of opportunity had been slaughtered by this figure. If Jun Xiaoyao was here, he would definitely recognize this figure. It was the marquis champion of the Jin dynasty, Yang Pan. He had also descended to the lower realm very early on in order to obtain opportunities in the lower realm and to search for the remaining 3 swords of Pan Huang. They're finally here. The coiling emperor life sword in my body sensed something. The whereabouts of the other 2 swords must be related to the crack between the 10 worlds. A sharp light shone in Yang Pan's eyes. He had always been reluctant to give up and saw Jun Xiaoyao as a target. And the only opportunity to surpass Jun Xiaoyao was in the crack of the 10 realms. Thus, Yang Pan had made up his mind. If he didn't fight for it this time, he would probably be completely left behind by Jun Xiaoyao. The changes in the 10 realms attracted everyone's attention. To the beings of the lower realms, this was a monstrous calamity. Because the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had been absorbed, the spiritual energy on the continent was very scarce. If he wanted to cultivate, it would be even more difficult. And for those saints who wanted to live for a long time, it was obviously very difficult for them to survive in an era where spiritual energy was scarce. Therefore, this was a heavy blow to the beings of the lower realms. But to the prodigies of the immortal region, this was the beginning of a great opportunity. They wouldn't pity the beings of the lower realms. After obtaining the opportunity, they would just pat their butts and return to the immortal region. This abnormal phenomenon lasted for more than 10 days. After more than 10 days, the spiritual energy of the 10 continents finally stopped dissipating. However, it was almost exhausted. At a certain moment, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly felt something and took out the fragrance pouch. Vaguely, the fragrance pouch's aura seemed to have resonated with a certain place, as if it wanted to guide Jun Xiaoyao there. "It's finally begun." Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a smirk. He immediately called EU and the others over. Let's get ready to depart. The greatest opportunity of the lower realms has appeared, Jun Xiaoyao said faintly. EU and Yan Qingying's eyes sparkled when they heard this. Jiang Luoli even cheered. Jun Xiaoyao and the others left the ancient god clan's encampment and headed for the outer seas. Jun Xiaoyao knew that the location of the rift to the 10 realms was uncertain. It could be in the wilderness or in any corner of the world. Those who could enter, apart from those with great fortune, were those like Jun Xiaoyao who possessed the martyr's altar's keepsake. About half a day later, Jun Xiaoyao arrived at the depths of the outer seas of the myriad continent under the guidance of the fragrance pouch. Finally, Jun Xiaoyao stood in the air above the sea. Jiang Luoli blinked her large eyes and looked left and right. She asked in confusion, "Brother Xiaoyao, where is the entrance to the rift to the 10 realms that you mentioned?" Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and pointed at the sea. "At the bottom of the sea?" Jiang Luoli gaped. She hadn't thought that the entrance to the rift to the 10 realms would be at the bottom of the sea. It was impossible to find it without a certain amount of luck. Jun Xiaoyao and the others surged with magical power, forming a protective shield as they dove into the depths of the sea. The outer seas of the myriad continent were as dangerous as the endless sea of the Tianxian continent. There were many terrifying deep-sea beasts hidden in the depths of the sea. For example, the blue ring octopus, the megalodon shark, the tiger demon whale, and so on. However, these deep-sea beasts were easily killed by Forefather Dongxian and the others, after diving 10,000 feet into the sea. Jun Xiaoyao discovered a pitch-black spatial fissure in the pitch-black underwater canyon. The space around the fissure was distorted, preventing seawater from entering. Vaguely, there was a dense amount of spirit qi being emitted from the crack. Is that the entrance to the rift to the 10 realms? Jiang Luoli and the others stared with wide eyes. This is only one of the entrances. There should be other entrances in other places of the 10 realms, Jun Xiaoyao said. They didn't hesitate and prepared to enter. However, Forefather Dongxian and the others discovered that the entrance to the rift to the 10 realms was vaguely repelling them. With their cultivation as saints, they couldn't enter at all. What's going on? Forefather Dongxian and the others were confused. Jun Xiaoyao pondered for a moment. The altar of heroes and other legacies in the rift to the 10 realms were targeted at the younger generation. They were no longer of much use to Forefather Dongxian and the other saints. Perhaps the fortuitous encounters in the rift to the 10 realms were prepared for the younger generation, which was why it was difficult for experts to enter. You guys stay here, Jun Xiaoyao said. Forefather Dongxian and the others nodded. Jun Xiaoyao led Jiang Luoli, EU, and Yan Qingying into the rift to the 10 realms. As for Jun Ying-er, her cultivation was still too low to enter. Su Ziqiang was just a slave he'd casually taken in, so Jun Xiaoyao had no intention of nurturing her. Therefore, he only brought Jiang Luoli and the others with him. At the same time, in a forest of monster beasts on the myriad continent, a young man with a calm expression was crazily hunting demonic beasts. A talisman with a supreme aura flickered above his head. It was the 16th Prince, Fang Han. Recommended reading. Load File 2013. Chapter 243. It's not enough. I haven't killed enough. I'm not strong enough. Fang Han kept killing monsters in the monster forest. His eyes were bloodshot, as if he had gone mad. Jun Xiaoyao was like a mountain pressing on his chest, making it hard for him to breathe. Jun Ying-er seemed to have become Jun Xiaoyao's maid, staying by Jun Xiaoyao's side every day. Anyone could see the extreme admiration in Jun Ying-er's eyes. She was like a young girl yearning for love, and she couldn't wait to throw herself at Jun Xiaoyao. Fang Han couldn't accept this. He couldn't bear that the woman he liked had become Jun Xiaoyao's sycophant. The raging flames of jealousy spread in his heart. Only this kind of killing could let him breathe a sigh of relief. The god's sacrificial talisman was constantly absorbing the flesh and blood of those monsters to strengthen Fang Han's strength. However, this kind of strengthening was like a drop in the bucket for a powerful genius like Jun Xiaoyao. It's not enough. It's not enough. Damn it. Even with the god sacrificial talisman, I don't know when I'll catch up to Jun Xiaoyao. Fang Han let out an indignant roar and smashed his fist on an ancient tree. He wanted to surpass Jun Xiaoyao. He wanted to go to the celestial realm. He wanted to win Jun Ying-er's favor. At this moment, a spatial fluctuation suddenly came from the depths of a valley in front of him. Fang Han's heart skipped a beat and he flashed over. Then, Fang Han's face was filled with surprise. Because in the depths of the valley, there was a spatial rift about the height of a person. The pitch-black spatial rift led to an unknown place. However, from this spatial crack, a wave of rich spiritual energy was faintly emitted, causing one to feel as if all the pores on one's body had opened up. This is... Fang Han's heart trembled violently, and then a look of excitement appeared in his eyes. He had vaguely heard before that his father, the royal lords of Dayan, had said, the opportunity of the crack of the 10 realms was about to open, and all the geniuses wanted to get in. However, not everyone was qualified to enter. The spatial rift in front of him should be one of the entrances to the crack of the 10 realms. Haha, I, Fang Han, am indeed the main character favored by the heavens and earth. Even such a great opportunity has opened its doors to me. Fang Han looked up to the sky and laughed. His previous depression and haze was swept away. His entire person, as if he had recovered his vitality. No matter how powerful Jun Xiaoyao was, he was still from the celestial realm. He was not blessed by the heavens and earth. Fang Han, on the other hand, was the true protagonist of the lower world, one of the 10 heaven-defying sons. Jun Xiaoyao, wait until I enter the crack of the 10 realms. I'll prove to Jun Ying-er that I'm stronger than you. Fang Han's eyes were bright as he stepped into the crack without hesitation. And Ji Qingyi. Li Daoxian was the strongest heaven-defying child. He did not even have to take the initiative to find the entrance. The entrance to the crack of the 10 realms appeared directly in front of him. Li Daoxuan's eyes flashed with pride. This was why he was different from the rest. He was even the most outstanding among the celestial realm's 10 heaven-defying children. However, Ji Qingyi only faintly nodded her head. Then, with light steps, she rushed into it. Li Daoxuan's eyes darkened when he felt Ji Qingyi's indifferent attitude. As the main character of the chaotic continent and the strongest heaven-defying child, his ambition was naturally not something the other heaven-defying children could compare to. He had to conquer Ji Qingyi. He had to go to the celestial realm. When I gather the origin of the 10 realms and become the heaven-defying king, even Ji Qingyi will have to submit to me. Li Daoxian narrowed his eyes and stepped into the crack of the 10 realms. On the other side, Xiao Maxian and Wang Chuan also found an entrance. There was also Yang Pan and Fahai. They had each recruited a group of geniuses from the lower realm. Although they could not be compared to the celestial realm's 10 heaven-defying children, they were not weak. Some of them could even compete with some of the young geniuses from the celestial realm. Of course, there were also some geniuses from the celestial realm and the lower realm who could find the entrance to the crack of the 10 realms. All in all, the top geniuses from the lower realm had all entered the crack of the 10 realms to fight for the final opportunity. Jun Xiaoyao and the others were flashing through the pitch-black void tunnel. Is this a void tunnel? Why is it so far away? Jiang Luoli was confused. Logically speaking, they should be able to reach their destination quickly after entering the void tunnel. But now, they were flashing through the void tunnel. I'm afraid this is also a kind of test. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. At this moment, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. At the same time, he waved his hand and used his dermic powers to pull Jiang Luoli and the others to the side. Rumble! At the place where they were previously, the void shook and collapsed like a pitch-black pit. That was close. We almost fell in. Jiang Luoli patted her chest, feeling a little scared. Yu and Yan Qingying also had a layer of cold sweat on their back. They did not notice it just now. If Jun Xiaoyao had not pulled them to the side, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Be careful, all of you. This portal alone is enough to kill quite a number of people, Jun Xiaoyao said plainly. He did not care. Jun Xiaoyao's powerful soul power made him extremely perceptive and could avoid risks in advance. Therefore, they were able to pass through the void tunnel without any mishap. But the other geniuses were not so lucky. From time to time, other geniuses would die in the void tunnel. They were either swallowed by the void tunnel or torn to pieces by the void storm. If they wanted to obtain the opportunity, they had to gamble with their lives. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao and the others finally saw the light in front of them in the dark tunnel. They all came out and took a look. Even Jun Xiaoyao was slightly dazed by what he saw. This was an ancient land. There were mountains and rivers, ancient tombs, endless wastelands, and vast rivers. At first glance, it did not seem much different from the outside world. However, if one took a closer look, they would find that the trees in the mountain range towered into the sky. Ordinary people were as small as ants in front of these ancient trees. There were also tremors from time to time in the mountain range and huge beast shadows. It gave people the feeling that they had arrived in a land of giants. Why do I feel like I've become very small? This feeling was very unfriendly to Jiang Luoli. She was already petite enough as Linglong, but now she felt even smaller. It's not that we've become smaller. Feel the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, Jun Xiaoyao explained. Jiang Luoli and the other two sensed it slightly, and their faces were filled with surprise. What rich spiritual energy! I'm afraid the spiritual energy of the celestial realm is not as rich as here, Yu said in surprise. It's normal for the rift of the 10 realms to have such an environment. It's nourished by the spiritual energy, so the ancient trees and monsters here are also exceptionally tall, Jun Xiaoyao said. But at the same time, the monsters in the rift of the 10 realms would definitely be more ferocious. There were also all kinds of dangerous places that were full of danger. Roar. Just as Jun Xiaoyao and the others were sizing up this world. A giant centipede that was 1,000 feet long soared into the sky from a lush forest and bit at Jun Xiaoyao with its sharp mouth. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 244. This 100-feet-long giant centipede was extremely ferocious and had a murderous aura. In the outside world, unless it was a mutant, it was impossible for centipedes to grow to such a size. However, the spirit energy in the crack of the 10 realms was too dense. It nourished the world and also gave birth to such a ferocious beast. However, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were indifferent as he slapped his golden palm down. With a thud, the head of the giant centipede that was filled with a murderous aura was smashed. Its long body fell from the sky, stirring up dust. In this crack of the 10 realms, opportunities and dangers coexist. Are you guys going to follow me or go on your own? Jun Xiaoyao looked at Yu and the others. Yu was slightly stunned when he heard that. He was about to say that he wanted to protect Jun Xiaoyao. However, on second thought, it seemed that Jun Xiaoyao didn't need their protection at all. Thinking of this, Yu cupped his hands and said, Yu is willing to go on his own and seek opportunities. Yu was very decisive. Because he had a blood feud, his will to become stronger was even firmer. In this crack of the 10 realms, with his strength and luck, he should be able to obtain his own opportunities. What about you? Jun Xiaoyao looked at Yan Qingying. Yan Qingying bit her lips slightly. Although she also wanted to stay by Jun Xiaoyao's side. However, she knew that Jun Xiaoyao wanted her to go on her own. As the successor of the God-devouring fiend technique, Yan Qingying needed to go on her own the most. In order to help you better, young master, I'm willing to go on my own to become stronger, Yan Qingying said with a determined expression. She was only willing to become stronger for Jun Xiaoyao's sake. This made Jiang Luoli feel a little sour in her heart. Well done. You guys are indeed worthy of being my followers. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Yu and Yan Qingying were both people with great luck. If they were together with Jun Xiaoyao, they would lose their own opportunities. If they were to train by themselves, it would be more likely for them to be reborn amidst blood and fire, and become even stronger. Jun Xiaoyao didn't need cowards or hooligans. His followers were people who would accompany him to rule the world in the future. After making their decision, Yu and Yan Qingying cupped their hands towards Jun Xiaoyao and left decisively. Jun Xiaoyao turned to look at Jiang Luoli and asked, "What about you?" "Hee, of course I want to be together with you, big brother Xiaoyao. Don't think of using the excuse of training alone or being a flower in a greenhouse as an excuse. Luoli wants to be with you." Jiang Luoli stepped forward and stuck close to Jun Xiaoyao. Her jade-like arms wrapped around Jun Xiaoyao's arm, causing Jun Xiaoyao to be speechless. "Mother, what kind of trouble have you caused me?" Jun Xiaoyao sighed in his heart. As the daughter-in-law that Jiang Luoli had personally chosen, perhaps only Jiang Luoli could be so close to Jun Xiaoyao. In the eyes of other women, Jun Xiaoyao was a cold and aloof white moonlight that could be looked at but not touched. It wasn't easy for me to have some alone time with big brother Xiaoyao. How could I give up? Jiang Luoli thought happily in her heart. All right, let's go. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about Jiang Luoli's little scheme. Jun Xiaoyao had no choice but to let the adorable Loli, who was crazy about throwing herself at him, do as she pleased. The two of them began to explore this area. Within the mountain range there were all kinds of rare and exotic fruit. Even in the immortal region, there were many sacred medicines that weren't very common, but in this mountain range there were many. Jun Xiaoyao and Jiang Luoli also casually picked some. Of course, along the way, there were all kinds of ferocious beasts that appeared, all of them larger than the outside world. For example, there were goldbiter rats that were the size of wolves. There were earthworms that were as thick as pythons. There were also bloodthirsty bats that were the size of giant eagles. Not only were these archaic descendants larger than the outside world, they were also stronger than the outside world. Among them, there were many Nirvana and Heaven Ascension Realm archaic descendants. Jun Xiaoyao also killed them with a single slap. After all, there weren't many archaic descendants that could withstand the crushing force of a few billion kilograms. Jiang Luoli, on the other hand, was carefree. With Jun Xiaoyao around, she felt extremely safe and didn't have to worry about anything. She suddenly thought of something. She looked up at Jun Xiaoyao and said, "Brother Xiaoyao," Luoli suddenly thought of something. "The demon beasts here are all larger than the outside world. If Luoli stayed in the crack of the 10 realms, would she also grow taller and bigger?" Hearing Jiang Luoli's strange imagination, Jun Xiaoyao was speechless for a moment. After a long time, he replied, "You're really a clever little brat." Hee. Jiang Luoli stuck out her tongue and smiled mischievously. At this moment, in the mountain range in front of them, ancient ruins appeared. There were broken walls and dilapidated palaces. They looked very ancient and didn't seem to be products of the late antiquity era. Ancient ruins? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a hint of interest. The crack of the 10 realms was an ancient land of opportunity. Very few people could enter. However, to be able to enter and build palaces, they must have some ability. In this ancient ruin, Jun Xiaoyao felt that there was a rich spiritual energy in one of the ruins. It made people feel as if they were about to be baptized and ascended. "Come with me." Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed slightly as he led Jiang Luoli into the ancient ruin. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao blasted open a huge bronze door with one hand and walked in. Along the way, Jun Xiaoyao destroyed all the various mechanisms and formations with one palm. There were also some bronze puppets that were guarding the ancient ruins, but they were also sent flying by Jun Xiaoyao. Finally, they came to a large hall. Inside the hall there was a spiritual pool. The water in the spiritual pool was very strange. It was actually colorful and magnificent. After countless years, the colorful pool water didn't evaporate and disappeared. Instead, it became even more concentrated. "Is this the water of baptism?" Jiang Luoli whispered. After all, she was from a clan of the ancients. She had high standards and could understand the origins of many treasures at a glance. "That's right." Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Baptism water was very rare, even in the immortal region. Not only was the spiritual energy in this baptism water as rich as a low-grade immortal source, but it was also very strong. What was even rarer was that the baptism water had the effect of cleansing the body. This baptism water was comparable to the golden body elixir in the Little Western Paradise. In the immortal region, the price of a drop of baptism water was comparable to a piece of supreme-grade immortal source. But here, it was full of baptism water. This should be the work of the ancient hero who built this palace, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. This baptism water was very suitable for the transformation of his strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth. With the help of this baptism pool, Jun Xiaoyao was confident that his strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth would improve further. At that time, he would be even more confident in transforming at the altar of martyrs. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to enter the baptism pool, at the side, Jiang Luoli was a little embarrassed and blushed. "You little girl, don't tell me." Jun Xiaoyao had almost forgotten that he had a little follower beside him. She also wanted to enter the baptism pool? But there was only one baptism pool. "Big brother Xiaoyao, do you want to join us?" Jiang Luoli twisted her fingers and looked up at him. Her long eyelashes were fluttering. Her watery and sparkling eyes were pure and innocent. Vaguely, there was also a hint of temptation. Jun Xiaoyao coughed dryly. Was this girl trying to make him commit a crime? Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 245. It had to be said that if Jiang Luoli really wanted to seduce him, she would definitely be a charming little vixen. Fortunately, Jun Xiaoyao had enough self-control. If it were any other man, they would probably have turned into a wolf. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao entered the baptismal pool with Jiang Luoli. Of course, they did not take off their clothes. The two of them sat cross-legged in the baptismal pool and began to absorb the baptismal water. Jun Xiaoyao activated the god-devouring demonic art, and pitch-black vortexes appeared on the surface of his body. The baptismal water was constantly being refined and absorbed. Jun Xiaoyao's body also emitted popping sounds one after another. Those were the granules of the giant elephant turning into granules of the dragon elephant. Jiang Luoli's body glowed with a jade light, like a little female immortal. Her speed of absorbing the baptismal water was obviously not as fast as Jun Xiaoyao. However, her physical body did not need too much baptismal water. Jiang Luoli did not walk the path of physical cultivation. With her primordial spirit Tao body, her delicate body was constantly being tempered by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This cultivation lasted for a total of 3 days and 3 nights. Jun Xiaoyao's divine elephant overpowering force also made great progress. At this moment, outside the ancient ruins in the mountain range, a few figures flashed. They were all geniuses who had entered the rift of the 10 realms because of various opportunities and accidents. These geniuses all had extraordinary luck. Although they were not at the level of the 10 heaven-defying children, they were not weak either. Haha, there's an ancient ruin up ahead. What rich spiritual energy. There must be a supreme treasure in that ancient palace. Some of the geniuses locked onto an ancient palace, and their eyes were filled with excitement as they flashed into it. And in the forest behind them, a figure appeared. Looking at those geniuses, his eyes flickered. He said that Jun Xiaoyao would definitely enter the rift of the 10 realms, but where is Jun Xiaoyao? This figure was none other than Fang Han, who had entered the rift of the 10 realms. The rift between the 10 realms was neither big nor small. Fang Han pondered for a moment, then entered the ancient palace in a flash. In the baptismal pool of the ancient palace, Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation was about to come to an end. In his body, Another 40,000 granules of the mammoth transformed into dragon-elephant granules. His fleshly body's strength had increased by another 3.6 billion gene, almost doubling it. If Jun Xiaoyao used the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth, his fleshly body god power would reach a terrifying level of 7.3 billion kilograms. This could no longer be described as terrifying, but as peerless. Looks like I'm really going to become One Punch Man, Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. In the next moment, the smile on his face disappeared. He looked at the door of the ancient palace with a cold look in his eyes. A bunch of annoying flies, Jun Xiaoyao said coldly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The sound of wind breaking could be heard as a group of geniuses entered the ancient palace. When they saw the baptismal pool, their eyes lit up. Then, some of the geniuses saw the charming Jiang Luoli, and their eyes flashed with a strange light. They turned to look at Jun Xiaoyao. Although Jun Xiaoyao was famous in the 4 lower realms, not all of these geniuses were from the 4 lower realms. Moreover, even the geniuses from the mysterious Heavens continent, the Stars continent, and the Sunluo continent had only heard of Jun Xiaoyao. Very few of them had seen him in person. Therefore, these geniuses did not know who Jun Xiaoyao was. Which continent are you from? We want the opportunity here, one of the geniuses in the group said. Jun Xiaoyao looked indifferent. He was too lazy to talk and was about to slap them. Suddenly, a move came from behind, accompanied by the power of the sun, moon, and universe. This sneak attack directly killed a few paragons. Who is it? Who dares to sneak attack us? The remaining geniuses were enraged. A figure flashed over. His hands moved as if he was pushing the sun and moon, crushing the group of geniuses. Poof! One of the geniuses' body exploded. Crack! Another genius's bones were shattered. In a short while, the group of geniuses who had entered the ancient palace were all killed. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows at the ruthlessness and decisiveness of his methods. This figure was Fang Han. A dark light flashed in his eyes. On the surface, he walked forward and cupped his hands at Jun Xiaoyao. Fang Han greets the Son of God. Seeing Fang Han's attitude, Jun Xiaoyao looked thoughtful. Something was wrong. Fang Han used to look at him with unwillingness and jealousy. It was so strong that it could not be diluted. But now, why did his attitude change so drastically? He even helped him solve some small problems. There must be a reason behind this abnormality. Could it be that Fang Han knew that he would never be able to catch up to Jun Xiaoyao, so he gave in? Jun Xiaoyao felt that it was unlikely. Which of the 10 heaven-defying sons was not full of pride? It was harder to ask them to lower their heads than to ask them to die. Even Yan Qingying had completely submitted to Jun Xiaoyao because he had helped her take revenge and killed the Son of God. Otherwise, Yan Qingying would not have submitted to Jun Xiaoyao so casually. I didn't expect you to enter the rift of the 10 realms too, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. Yes, it's all luck, Fang Han said. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. He was right. Without the protection of Providence, Fang Han was indeed nothing. And now that he was slaughtering that group of geniuses, the strength he displayed was clearly much stronger than before. This was probably all thanks to Fang Han's Goldfinger. Jun Xiaoyao did not know what Fang Han's Goldfinger was, but it must be related to the hidden dragon continent's world origin. Fang Han, you seem to have changed into a different person. Jun Xiaoyao looked at him meaningfully. Fang Han's heart skipped a beat, but his expression remained calm. He suddenly sighed deeply and said, I've thought it through. I have no way out in this lower realm, so I hope to follow the Son of God to the celestial realm. I hope the Son of God will grant my wish. Oh, I see. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly on the surface, but he was sneering in his heart. Competing in acting? He was a best actor. Even the geniuses of the celestial realm were fooled by Jun Xiaoyao. Fang Han from the lower realm wanted to play tricks with him? He was simply showing off in front of an expert. Ridiculous. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not expose him, nor did he intend to attack Fang Han. After all, Fang Han was the son of the royal lords of Dayan and the prince of the Dayan dynasty. It would not be good to attack him casually. If that's the case, then I'll beat him at his own game. Fang Han, you think you're on the 2nd level, but I'm actually on the 5th. Jun Xiaoyao sneered in his heart. On the surface, he said, your strength is indeed not weak, and you even helped the Son of God solve the problem. After we get out, the Son of God can take you to the celestial realm. Thank you, Son of God. Fang Han's face lit up, and he cupped his hands slightly. However, he was sneering in his heart. Jun Xiaoyao, are you sure you can get out of here alive? Without a guardian, without the identity of the Jun family, you're just a slightly more powerful genius. You were still fooled by me. Fang Han sneered in his heart. He felt that his acting skills were flawless. Jun Xiaoyao had come to believe what Yi Futian said, and he began to let go of his suspicions and wariness toward him. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 246. He looked at Fang Han, who lowered his head and cupped his hands. Jun Xiaoyao sighed in his heart. In order to deceive him, Fang Han was willing to endure humiliation. However, what did he rely on to deal with him? His cheat? Jun Xiaoyao thought of all sorts of possibilities. At this moment, Jiang Luoli also exited her cultivation state. She saw Fang Han at a glance, and then her little face darkened. It wasn't easy for her to finally have some alone time with Jun Xiaoyao. Why did this thing come in halfway? Big brother Xiaoyao, who is he? Jiang Luoli frowned. A prince of the Dayan dynasty, Jun Xiaoyao said casually. Oh, big brother Xiaoyao, let's go then. Jiang Luoli wanted to get rid of this annoying Fang Han. Seeing this, Fang Han hurriedly said, I hope to follow the Son of God. Why are you so annoying? Jiang Luoli said angrily. After being scolded by Jiang Luoli, Fang Han's face turned pale. Any man would not like to be scolded by the opposite sex like this. However, Fang Han still insisted. Jun Xiaoyao looked deeply at Fang Han and said, All right then, you can follow the Son of God. Big brother Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli bit her lip. She was even more annoyed with Fang Han. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand and stopped Jiang Luoli from speaking. Why did he want Fang Han to follow him? Naturally, it was because Jun Xiaoyao was interested in Fang Han's cheat and the origin of the world. If Fang Han did not follow him, how could he cause trouble? If he didn't cause any trouble, how could Jun Xiaoyao have any reason to attack him, the son of a meritorious minister? Fang Han had ulterior motives for staying by Jun Xiaoyao's side. Jun Xiaoyao wanted to create an opportunity for him to stir up trouble. This way, he could rightfully deprive Fang Han of his opportunity. The royal lords of Dayan and the others would not hold any grudges. Having the best of both worlds, wouldn't that be perfect? If Fang Han knew Jun Xiaoyao's inner thoughts, he would definitely shout angrily, You sly old fox! Unfortunately, Fang Han didn't know that. He even mistakenly thought that Jun Xiaoyao had completely let down his guard against him. After that, Jun Xiaoyao and the others left the ancient palace. They continued to search for opportunities. However, all kinds of opportunities were divided between Jun Xiaoyao and Jiang Luoli. Fang Han, who was by Jun Xiaoyao's side, did not even get a single thing. This made Fang Han's expression faintly unpleasant. And what made Fang Han even angrier was, they also found a stalk of the immortal herb. The stalk of the immortal herb was two fruits connected together. One was reddish gold, and the other was watery silver. This stalk of the immortal herb exuded the power of the sun, moon, yin, and yang. The immortal herb of sun and moon? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. The immortal herb was a rare item even in the immortal realm. Back then, Princess Bayur of the ancient kingdom of Phoenix knelt down and begged for a stalk of the immortal herb. It was obvious that the immortal herb was very rare. However, it was understandable to find a stalk of the immortal herb in a treasure land like the Rift of the Ten Realms. and Fang Han was extremely excited. This was because this stalk of the immortal herb of sun and moon was very compatible with his body. If he could refine it, it would be extremely beneficial for him. Next to the immortal herb of sun and moon were fierce archaic remains. Go take care of those archaic remains, Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. Since Fang Han wanted to stay by his side, he naturally had to let him do more. Hearing this, Fang Han's heart was also faintly excited. Did Jun Xiaoyao plan to let him take care of the archaic remains and then get the immortal herb of sun and moon? If it were before, Fang Han would definitely not have thought that Jun Xiaoyao would be so kind. But now, Jun Xiaoyao had been fooled by him. Perhaps he would really give him a taste of some benefits. Thinking of this, Fang Han's magic power surged and he directly charged toward those archaic remains. It had to be said that the archaic remains guarding the immortal herb of sun and moon were extremely powerful. Even Fang Han, who was a heaven-defying child, had a very difficult time dealing with them. Moreover, with Jun Xiaoyao beside him, he could not use the sacrificial talisman to fight back. Therefore, the battle was very difficult. However, Jun Xiaoyao and Jiang Luoli stood at the side and watched the show. They were too lazy to help. Jiang Luoli even made a face at Fang Han and snorted. Serves you right. Fang Han fought with the archaic remains for a full hour before finally killing it with great difficulty. He was panting and his entire body was covered in blood. There were also bloody claw marks, and he looked quite miserable. With Jun Xiaoyao around, Fang Han could not use any of his trump cards. Therefore, he could only win with great difficulty. But the result was good. Fang Han sighed softly and revealed a faint smile. He turned around and was about to pick up the immortal herb of sun and moon. The immortal herb of sun and moon was grabbed by a suction force and finally fell into Jun Xiaoyao's hands. Fang Han. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and handed the immortal herb of sun and moon to Jiang Luoli. Jiang Luoli's face revealed a look of surprise. Big brother Xiaoyao, is this for Luoli? Isn't it too precious? It's okay. I don't lack immortal herbs. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Thank you, big brother Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli revealed a sweet smile, and 2 dimples appeared on her cheek. As the pearl of the Jiang family, she did not lack immortal herbs. However, this was a gift from Jun Xiaoyao, so the meaning was different. Jiang Luoli's big eyes moved. Then, she tiptoed and jumped slightly, sneakily attacking Jun Xiaoyao and kissing him on the cheek. You little girl! Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. Fortunately, she did not kiss his lips. Otherwise, his first kiss would have been gone. Jun Xiaoyao would not be tempted by any woman. He was the cold and aloof white moonlight in the hearts of all women. It would not be easy for Jiang Luoli to win him over. Fang Han, who saw this scene, stood rooted to the ground, dumbfounded. He had gone through so much trouble to kill the archaic remains, but the treasure had been taken away by Jun Xiaoyao. Not only that, but he had also given it to the lowly girl. Most importantly, the lowly girl had even given him a kiss. Only Fang Han was left alone in the same place. Not only was he covered in wounds, but he had also eaten a mouthful of dog food. It was 2F** King miserable. Snowflakes fluttered and the north wind whistled. Fang Han felt as if there was cold icy rain on his face. Jun Xiaoyao noticed Fang Han, and a trace of ridicule flashed across his eyes. He said, Fang Han, you did well. I, the son of God, will not treat you unfairly. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, Fang Han's expression became a little better. However, his heart was still bleeding. That was because the immortal elixir of sun and moon was too compatible with his constitution. Jun Xiaoyao simply robbed him of the opportunity that was most suitable for him. However, Jun Xiaoyao's next move once again dumbfounded Fang Han. Jun Xiaoyao took out a spiritual medicine and gave it to Fang Han. This! Fang Han froze on the spot. He felt a deep sense of malice. Above the spiritual medicine was the treasure medicine, above the treasure medicine was the sacred medicine, and above the sacred medicine was the immortal elixir. His immortal elixir of sun and moon was exchanged for a spiritual medicine? And it was AF** King inferior grade spiritual medicine. Fang Han's body trembled slightly. Seeing that, Jun Xiaoyao pretended to be surprised and said, "Is it not enough? It's okay, there's more." Jun Xiaoyao took out another inferior grade spiritual medicine. Pfft! Fang Han finally could not take it anymore and spat out a large mouthful of blood from his heart. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 247. Fang Han didn't know if Jun Xiaoyao was doing this on purpose or if he really wanted to. He was so angry that he was trembling all over. He couldn't help but vomit blood. "Are you all right?" Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with coldness and mockery, but on the surface, he was pretending to be concerned. "Thank you for your concern, son of God. I'm fine. It's just that my injuries haven't healed yet," Fang Han said through clenched teeth. "Good. These 2 spirit herbs should be able to help you recover," Jun Xiaoyao said. Fang Han was so angry that he almost vomited blood again. He wanted the immortal elixir of sun and moon. Not these 2 damn spirit herbs that even a dog wouldn't eat. But in the end, Fang Han still ate the 2 spirit herbs because they could at least heal some of his injuries. "Fang Han, oh Fang Han, you're too naive." Jun Xiaoyao sneered as he looked at Fang Han, who was sitting cross-legged and refining the spirit herbs. He was filled with bitterness but didn't dare to show it. Jun Xiaoyao had never been afraid of anyone when it came to scheming. "Didn't you want to follow me and plot against me? Fine. Then I'll let you follow me." But Fang Han had to bleed along the way. Because he was a heaven-defying son with amazing providence. If it weren't for Fang Han, he might not have encountered the immortal elixir of sun and moon. Moreover, the immortal elixir of sun and moon was very compatible with Fang Han's body. It was clearly Fang Han's fortuitous opportunity. However, Jun Xiaoyao simply snatched it away from him. Fang Han had to pay the price for scheming against him. The fortuitous opportunity along the way was the price. This was also why Jun Xiaoyao didn't want Yu and Yan Qingying to follow him. They were all people with great providence. If they stayed with Jun Xiaoyao, it would affect their progress. But in this Fang Han, it didn't matter. If it was necessary to snatch, snatch. If it was necessary to snatch, snatch. After that, Jun Xiaoyao and the others continued to move forward. Along the way, Jun Xiaoyao and Jiang Luoli obtained all kinds of opportunities. Even some of the opportunities that should have belonged to Fang Han were seized by them. This infuriated Fang Han, but he had no choice but to hold it in. One could only imagine the pain and suffering. "Jun Xiaoyao, you may be proud now, but in the future, I will make sure that you will never be able to walk out of the crack of the 10 realms." Fang Han roared silently in his heart. About a day later, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly stopped in his tracks. "Brother Xiaoyao, what's wrong?" Jiang Luoli asked. Jun Xiaoyao did not answer. This was because he could sense that the coiling Emperor Time sword within the spatial ritual implement seemed to be trembling slightly, letting out a sword hum. The coiling Emperor Time sword, could it be? Jun Xiaoyao pondered. "Let's go over there." Jun Xiaoyao flew in a direction. The existence that resonated with the coiling Emperor Time sword was in that direction. At the same time, on the other side, Marquis Champion Yang Pan also sensed something. He looked into the distance, and a hint of excitement flashed in his eyes. "The opportunity that belongs to me is here." In a mountain ridge, a young monk wearing a golden kasaya walked out. It was Fahai of the Little Western Paradise. He looked into the distance, put his palms together, and said, "Amitba, that treasure land is fated with me." This was an incomparably vast plain, and above the plain, an ancient palace floated in the clouds in the sky. At a glance, it looked like a palace in the clouds. The surrounding void power filled the air. From time to time, pitch-black spatial rifts would appear, like the huge mouth of a giant beast opening its abyss. On this plane, a few geniuses were flying over. Their gazes were fixed on the ancient palace in the clouds, and their eyes were burning with passion. This is definitely a place of opportunity. Some prodigies' eyes burned with passion. Dermic powers surged all over their bodies, and they soared into the sky. However, just as they were about to approach the ancient palace in the sky, a black shadow as large as a continent blocked everyone's view. It was a giant creature that looked like a Kuan fish. It seemed to use the void as a sea. It broke through the air and tore through tens of thousands of feet of space, opening its mouth to swallow these prodigies. Oh my God, that's an ancient void Kuan! A prodigy was so shocked that his eyes almost popped out. The ancient void Kuan was an extremely powerful pure-blooded creature. It was rumored that it lived in the endless void. It could even survive in the terrifying void storms. Of course, this pure-blooded creature's strength was also extremely terrifying. When it opened its mouth, it was like a black hole releasing endless suction power. Those prodigies could not resist at all and were sucked in. Cultivators below level 9 of the Saint Realm could not resist the ancient void Kuan's devouring power at all. Inside the ancient void Kuan's body, there were no blood, flesh, or organs like ordinary beasts. Instead, it was like a miniature space filled with void storms. Any creature that was swallowed by the ancient void Kuan would be crushed into pure energy by the void storms in its body and absorbed by the ancient void Kuan. Just now, the ancient void Kuan had swallowed more than half of those prodigies with one bite. The few prodigies who did not have time to attack all had cold sweat dripping down their back. However, the strange thing was that the ancient void Kuan seemed to only circle around the ancient palace like a guardian beast. It would not leave that area of its own accord. However, this way, no one could step into the ancient palace. This kind of misery of not being able to obtain a mountain of gold made many prodigies unhappy. At this moment, a streak of light flew over from afar. A figure stopped in the void. It was Yang Pan. He looked at the ancient palace in the distance, his eyes flashing. He could feel that the coiling emperor life sword in his body was trembling as if it was resonating with something. Could it be the coiling emperor void sword? Yang Pan's gaze instinctively fell on the ancient palace. The power of the void surged around the ancient palace. This was the same as the coiling emperor void sword. However, the ancient void Kuan beside the ancient void palace made Yang Pan frown. Even he would find it very difficult to deal with a pure-blooded creature like the ancient void Kuan. If he was swallowed by it, he would definitely be at risk of dying. The heavenly horn divine armor on his body could not withstand the power of the void storms in the ancient void Kuan's body. What should I do? Yang Pan frowned deeply. At this moment, Buddhist light shone from another direction, and the sound of chanting could be heard. A monk in a golden kasaya appeared. It was Fahai. The Bodhisattva of Little Western Paradise? Seeing Fahai arrive, Yang Pan raised his eyebrows. As a prodigy from an immortal force of the celestial realm, Yang Pan naturally knew of this famous Bodhisattva of Little Western Paradise. Amitba. So it's the marquee champion of the Jin dynasty. Nice to meet you. Fahai saw Yang Pan and put his palms together. Yang Pan's expression did not change. He was not interested in Buddhism or Taoism. He was even a bit annoyed. However, he had heard that the Bodhisattva of Little Western Paradise seemed to have been humiliated by Jun Xiaoyao in the Heavenly Tao Tower. This was something he could use. Fahai obviously also thought of the hatred between Yang Pan and Jun Xiaoyao at the same time. They looked at each other. Although they had their own thoughts, they both smiled. Fahai, if nothing unexpected happened, Jun Xiaoyao should have also entered the crack of the 10 worlds, Yang Pan said. Amitba. I also have a karma with Jun Xiaoyao that needs to be settled. Just as the two of them reached a certain agreement, a gentle and cold voice sounded from afar. Have you finally decided to ally with each other to deal with this son of God? Hearing this voice, Yang Pan and Fahai turned their eyes. Their eyes were filled with deep hatred and coldness. The main character was finally here. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 248. Three figures came from the distant horizon. They were Jun Xiaoyao, Jiang Luoli, and Fang Han. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Yang Pan and Fahai. These two had been holding a grudge against him for a long time. There was a cold light surging in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. Guardians could not enter the crack of the 10 realms, so Yang Pan and Fahai could only enter alone. Since that was the case, it was time to put an end to it. Jun Xiaoyao did not care at all about how Pan Wu, Jin Dynasty, and Little Western Paradise would react after killing them. He would not give up on killing them just because of their background. It was something that Jun Xiaoyao had to do to eliminate the root of the problem. Yang Pan and Fahai's expressions changed when they sensed the faint murderous intent in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. They had obtained many opportunities in the lower realm, and their strength had greatly increased. However, the white-robed Jun Xiaoyao in front of them still gave them an unfathomable feeling. Jun Xiaoyao's aura was as deep as the sea. It was unfathomable, and they did not know where his limit was. Fang Han, who was behind Jun Xiaoyao, glanced at Yang Pan imperceptibly, and his eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. Even if ants form an alliance, they are still a bunch of ants. Today, let's put an end to it, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. He had been involved with Yang Pan and the others for a while, and it was time to put an end to it. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was cold, and he directly attacked. As his fingers and palms flipped, the sky fell and the earth cracked, and the void was about to collapse. Let's attack together, Yang Pan roared. The moment Jun Xiaoyao attacked, the invincible aura he emitted made Yang Pan's heart tremble slightly. He made a prompt decision without hesitation and asked to join forces with Fahai. Fahai also attacked directly. At this time, if he still insisted on a one-on-one duel, he would be giving Jun Xiaoyao a free meal. Fahai obviously knew this as well, so he immediately joined forces with Yang Pan. Yang Pan wielded the Death Meng godly spear and thrust it forward like a black dragon, carrying with it a sharp and ferocious intent. Fahai, on the other hand, pinched the Kasyapa Mudra in his hand and blasted it out. Buddhist light surged and the holy light was vast and mighty. What powerful strength! Is this the strength of a peak-level genius from the immortal realms? Not far away, some geniuses from the lower world were shocked to see Yang Pan and Fahai fight. Although their luck wasn't bad and their strength could be considered top-notch among the geniuses of the lower worlds, only when they saw the geniuses of the immortal realms fighting did they understand the disparity between them. Among the geniuses of the lower realms, only the 10 heaven-defying children had the qualifications to compete with the geniuses of the immortal realms. Jun Xiaoyao's face didn't have the slightest ripple as he watched the two make their moves. With his current strength, he was almost invincible among his peers in the immortal realms. Perhaps only those hidden ancient freaks, the descendants of the great emperors, or the youngest sons of the ancient emperors were qualified to exchange a few moves with him. Jun Xiaoyao didn't use any divine abilities or moves. He just pushed out with his palm. The strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant burst out with monstrous divine power. 330 million kilograms of divine power surged out. What kind of concept was this divine power? It had reached a level that ordinary people couldn't imagine. In the future, Jun Xiaoyao might even reach the great emperor realm with his physical body. He could fight against the great emperors and ancient emperors with just his physical body alone. Boom! The three of them collided. Jun Xiaoyao's attack almost destroyed all of Yang Pan and Fahai's attack. Jun Xiaoyao clashed with Yang Pan's Death Meng godly spear with his bare hands. An unparalleled force rebounded along the body of the spear. Puff! Yang Pan's body felt as if it was being crushed by a giant hammer. He spat out blood and retreated violently. A cracking sound came from his chest. It was the sound of his ribs shattering. If he wasn't wearing the heavenly light horn godly armor, this impact would have severely injured him. On the other side, Fahai's Kasyapa Buddhist seal was also destroyed. He hurriedly used the Little Western Paradise's supreme body tempering technique, the Zhang's 6 golden body. Dharmic power fluctuated and bombarded Zhang's 6 golden body. Fahai also spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with shock. He and Yang Pan didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao's power to increase by so much. It was completely different from before. Brother Xiaoyao is so powerful. Jiang Luoli's eyes flashed. She didn't go forward to help because there was no need to. Jun Xiaoyao could easily deal with the two of them. Why do I feel like he's become stronger? Behind Jiang Luoli, Fang Han's eyes darkened when he saw the invincible Jun Xiaoyao. As for the surrounding geniuses of the lower worlds, they were all dumbfounded and flabbergasted. What did it mean to say that there was always a higher mountain? The scene before them was a clear example. Yang Pan and Fahai were already very strong in their eyes. However, in front of Jun Xiaoyao, they were both younger brothers. That's it? Even working together can't make me, the Son of God, feel any fighting spirit. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. Jun Xiaoyao, don't be so arrogant. Yang Pan's eyes were bloodshot as he shouted. He couldn't stand the humiliation and activated his dharmic power. An ancient sword suddenly burst out of his body, exuding the endless power of life. His injured body also began to recover rapidly. Coiling Emperor Life Sword. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. The Coiling Emperor Time Sword's aura was sealed in his spatial artifact. Therefore, Yang Pan and the Coiling Emperor Life Sword couldn't sense it. Today, I'll kill you with this sword. This was the first time Yang Pan completely took out the Coiling Emperor Life Sword. This also represented his determination to kill Jun Xiaoyao. As for Fahai, he didn't hold back anymore. Behind him, an illusory image of all living beings worshipping appeared. Surging power of faith was surging. In the center of all the worshipping, the illusory image of a golden Buddha sat cross-legged. However, it was different from before. This golden Buddha was surrounded by a bloody light. His front face was the image of a benevolent Buddha, but there was also a face at the back of his head, like a demon king from hell. The power of faith, Buddha's body, and demon heart? Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Fahai. Previously, when he attacked Fahai at the Heaven Dao Tower, he vaguely sensed it. He didn't expect that now, with the support of the power of faith, Fahai would actually completely unlock the power of the Buddha's body and demon heart. However, in the face of absolute strength, all of this was futile. Buddha's body and demon heart, 1,000 hands demonic Buddha! Fahai shouted, his voice like thunder. The illusory image of the golden demonic Buddha revealed 1,000 arms and slapped at Jun Xiaoyao. This 1,000 hands demonic Buddha was extremely powerful. When the 1,000 arms attacked at the same time, it was as if they were going to split the sky. As for Yang Pan, he was also controlling the Coiling Emperor Life Sword. The blade flickered with a bright sword light. With a slash of the sword, the space was cut open like a piece of paper. In the face of these two people's ultimate moves, Jun Xiaoyao activated the supreme bone in his chest. Blazing and dazzling divine light appeared and condensed into a giant hand covered in runes. It slapped at the two people. At the same time, the power of the god-devouring demonic technique was also activated. Black holes appeared in the surrounding void, erupting with suction force and destroying the power of the two people's moves. Rumble! As if 100,000 thunderbolts had exploded at the same time, a storm was set off in the sky. In such an extreme collision, Fahai and Yang Pan's bones were broken and their tendons were torn. Blood was spat out as if it was free of charge, and they were sent flying. Those terrifying shockwaves were neutralized by the black hole whirlpool of the god-devouring demonic technique before they could land on Jun Xiaoyao. Boring. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. For those who had lost to Jun Xiaoyao, the gap between them and Jun Xiaoyao would only grow bigger and bigger instead of getting smaller. It's over. Jun Xiaoyao pressed his palm down. At this moment, Fong Han suddenly moved. He used a treasure, the spirit locking chain, and tied Jiang Luoli up at lightning speed. At the same time, he activated his golden finger, the sacrificial god talisman, and it floated above Jiang Luoli's head. "Stop it, Jun Xiaoyao. She's going to die if you make another move." Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 249. This sudden turn of events stunned some of the Sky Prides who were watching from afar. This kind of change was a bit too sudden, causing everyone to be unable to recover from their shock. Jiang Luoli was even more stunned. Her attention had been focused on Jun Xiaoyao the entire time. When she came back to her senses, she was already tied up by the spirit sealing chain. Jiang Luoli's face flushed with anger and she reprimanded, "Fong Han, what are you doing?" Fong Han's face was cold and frosty. After enduring for a long time, he finally revealed his true colors. Jun Xiaoyao glanced back. To Fong Han's surprise, Jun Xiaoyao did not seem to be too surprised. This scene seemed to be within his expectations. Could he have sensed it long ago? No, that's impossible. I hid it very well, Fong Han thought to himself. Jun Xiaoyao's gaze did not fall on Jiang Luoli, who was tied up. Instead, he looked at the god's sacrificial talisman. "I see. Is this the golden finger of your rise?" Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. He could feel that the god's sacrificial talisman contained the world's origin energy. It must be the world's origin energy of the hidden dragon continent. This was also what Jun Xiaoyao wanted. However, because Fong Han was the son of the royal lords of Dayan, he could not go too far before. Otherwise, he would have disheartened his meritorious servant. However, it did not matter now. As he expected, Fong Han was digging his own grave. However, Jun Xiaoyao looked at the spirit sealing chain that bound Jiang Luoli. This kind of spirit sealing chain was rare even in the immortal realm, let alone in the lower realm. "This spirit locking chain shouldn't be yours, right?" Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. At this moment, the heavily injured Yang Pan suddenly laughed. "Haha, Jun Xiaoyao, you're smart all your life, but you're stupid now. I was the one who gave him this spirit sealing chain." Yang Pan's words made it clear that he was working with Fong Han. "What? So it's like this? Damn it, you despicable person." Jiang Luoli's beautiful eyes were spewing flames of anger. She had always hated Fong Han, and now she was even angrier. Jiang Luoli wanted to resist, but the spirit-locking chains had locked her dermic powers. Even the treasures in the spatial artifacts could not be used, because there was no source of magic power. Looking at the struggling Jiang Luoli, Fong Han smiled nonchalantly. Then, he looked at Jun Xiaoyao and said with a hint of complacency and carefreeness, "Jun Xiaoyao, you've been humiliating me all this time. You probably didn't expect yourself to be in this situation, did you?" Fong Han was very pleased. He felt that he had grasped Jun Xiaoyao's weakness and had the upper hand. Moreover, he had been observing along the way. Jiang Luoli should be an important person to Jun Xiaoyao. Keeping Jiang Luoli in check was equivalent to keeping Jun Xiaoyao in check. This was Fong Han's confidence. "So you've been holding back all this time for this moment?" Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still calm. Fong Han chuckled. Then, without hesitation, he told the truth. It turned out that he had met Yang Pan not long after entering the Fissure of the 10 Realms. In the end, both of them had a grudge against Jun Xiaoyao, so they set up this trap. From the beginning to the end, Fong Han had been scheming against Jun Xiaoyao. After saying this, Fong Han smiled proudly and said, "Jun Xiaoyao, are you angry, regretful, or angry after hearing this?" Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and shook his head. He raised his hand and took out a piece of jade. It was the light shadow stone that could record images. "I've recorded everything you said just now," Jun Xiaoyao said. Fong Han's expression changed slightly. He knew that he had been tricked by Jun Xiaoyao again. But he did not care too much. He sneered and said, "What's the use of recording this now? Do you think you can walk out of the fissure of the 10 realms alive? It's just evidence. Jun Xiaoyao put away the light shadow stone. With this thing, he could torture and kill Fang Han however he wanted. He did not have to worry about the royal lords of Dayan and the others. Jun Xiaoyao, surrender now. Otherwise, I will sacrifice her to the sacrificial talisman. Fang Han threatened. Brother Xiaoyao, don't worry about Luoli. Kill them! Jiang Luoli shouted. She definitely did not want to become a burden to Jun Xiaoyao. She would rather die than be a burden to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed slightly. He said, Do you think that the Son of God will care about this kind of threat? Oh? Do you really not have any feelings for her? Fang Han stared at Jun Xiaoyao. He did not believe that Jun Xiaoyao would be indifferent to Jiang Luoli's death. Although Jiang Luoli did not want Jun Xiaoyao to be implicated because of her, if Jun Xiaoyao really did not have any feelings for her as a girl, it was inevitable that she would feel a little disappointed. Looking at the expressionless Jun Xiaoyao, Jiang Luoli bit her lip. Perhaps it has always been Luoli's wishful thinking. Jiang Luoli felt dejected. She admitted that at the beginning she did lick Jun Xiaoyao because of his looks, but now Jiang Luoli liked Jun Xiaoyao not only because of his handsome face. Jiang Luoli liked his personality, his behavior, and everything about him. Looking at Jiang Luoli, who lowered her head slightly, Jun Xiaoyao pondered. In terms of absolute benefits, he did not need to care about Jiang Luoli. Jun Xiaoyao did not like Jiang Luoli that much now. Or rather, he did not care too much about any woman. This might be the trait of a scumbag, but it was the truth. Jun Xiaoyao was too hard to fall in love with. Right now, he only wanted to become stronger and become an emotionless cultivation machine. What? Aren't you going to surrender? Fang Han slightly activated the sacrificial god talisman. So, do you want to kill me directly? Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back. Let's kill him directly, Fahai said to Yang Pan. This was a perfect opportunity. If he were to miss this opportunity, it would be almost impossible for him to kill Jun Xiaoyao. Yang Pan's eyes flashed as he suddenly looked at the ancient void koan beside the ancient void palace. He thought for a moment and said, Instead of killing Jun Xiaoyao directly, why don't we make use of him and let him attract the ancient void koan's attention? We can take the opportunity to enter the ancient palace. Hearing Yang Pan's suggestion, Fahai nodded slightly. If he was swallowed by the ancient void koan, the void storm in its body would be enough to kill Jun Xiaoyao. He would not be able to survive. Thinking of this, Yang Pan directly said to Jun Xiaoyao, Actually, there is another way. You attract the ancient void koan's attention, and we can release Jiang Luoli later. Oh, are you sure? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. The corners of his lips curled up slightly. The situation seemed to be under his control. Don't worry, we don't want to offend the Jiang family too much. As long as you go, we will definitely release Jiang Luoli. Yang Pan smiled faintly. No, brother Xiaoyao, don't go. Jiang Luoli's face turned pale as she hurriedly shouted. If Jun Xiaoyao was swallowed by the ancient void koan, he would not be able to survive. Okay. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. In fact, Yang Pan's suggestion was exactly what he wanted. Scheming against each other and scheming against each other. Whether it was Fang Han or Yang Pan, in front of Jun Xiaoyao, they were all his younger brothers. Jun Xiaoyao's schemes were deeper than anyone else's. Recommended reading. Load 2013. Chapter 250. Seeing how easily Jun Xiaoyao agreed to his request, Yang Pan looked rather suspicious. But now that Jiang Luoli was in their hands, he wasn't afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would use any trick. Jun Xiaoyao, you better not play any tricks, Yang Pan said coldly. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and walked towards the ancient void koan as if he was taking a stroll. Brother Xiaoyao. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao rushing towards the ancient void koan, Jiang Luoli let out a cry. She was a little disappointed because Jun Xiaoyao didn't have her in his heart. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's actions proved that she still had a place in Jun Xiaoyao's heart. This made Jiang Luoli like Jun Xiaoyao even more. At the same time, she also felt sorry for Jun Xiaoyao. She didn't want anything to happen to him because of her. If Jun Xiaoyao knew his plan had made Jiang Luoli have a good impression of him, he would probably be very helpless. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's real intention wasn't to save Jiang Luoli. Jun Xiaoyao approached the ancient void palace and threw a palm at the ancient void Kuan. The ancient void Kuan let out an angry roar and opened its mouth towards Jun Xiaoyao. It was as if the sky was about to be swallowed. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, flashed and darted to the side. The ancient void Kuan swallowed everything along the way. Good chance. Yang Pan and Fahai's eyes flashed. At the same time, Yang Pan also shouted to Fang Han, "You stay here and restrain Jiang Luoli. After this is over, you won't be short of benefit." With that, Yang Pan and Fahai flew towards the ancient void palace at the same time. Fang Han's eyes flashed. To be honest, he wasn't stupid enough to trust Yang Pan and Fahai. But there was nothing he could do. If he wanted Jun Xiaoyao dead, he had to cooperate with Yang Pan. The spirit sealing chains he used to subdue Jiang Luoli had been given to him by Yang Pan. Jiang Luoli's attention was on Jun Xiaoyao. The giant mouth of the ancient void Kuan unleashed a terrifying devouring power. It was like an enhanced version of the god-swallowing demonic technique. Jun Xiaoyao's entire body was swallowed by the ancient void Kuan. Big brother Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli seemed to have lost her soul. The moment Jun Xiaoyao was swallowed by the ancient void Kuan, she felt as if her entire world was collapsing. Her originally bright eyes were no longer shining. It was as if she had become a walking corpse. It was only now that Jiang Luoli realized how important Jun Xiaoyao was to her. Tears fell from her empty eyes and dripped down her pale face. "Haha, he's dead. Jun Xiaoyao is finally dead." Fang Han laughed loudly. He was extremely excited. The mountain that had been pressing down on him had finally been crushed. The peerless hero that Jun Ing-er worshipped had finally fallen. On the other side, Yang Pan and Fahai, who had just stepped into the ancient void palace, were also excited when they saw Jun Xiaoyao being swallowed by the ancient void Kuan. Jun Xiaoyao stood above the heads of many geniuses in the immortal realm and was known as an insurmountable mountain. Now, he had finally fallen in the crack of the 10 realms. If this news spread to the immortal realm, it would definitely cause a huge commotion and shock everyone. Of course, Yang Pan and the others would also have to bear the pressure from the Jun family. However, they also had the confidence that the Jun family would not lower themselves to target them in a fight between their peers. Just when Yang Pan, Fahai, and Fang Han were relieved, Jun Xiaoyao, who had been swallowed by the ancient void Kuan, was in a special space. The inside of the ancient void Kuan's stomach was dark and deep, like the depths of the universe. Endless void windstorms swept across the area. Any living thing that was sucked in would be torn apart and broken down into pure energy in an instant, and then be absorbed by the ancient void Kuan. Jun Xiaoyao didn't hesitate and immediately took out the blue sky ancestral dragon armor. Then, he used the strongest defensive technique of the divine elephant overpowering force, the underworld protection. The sacred body of the ancients, the blue sky ancestral dragon armor, the underworld protection, and Jun Xiaoyao's own powerful magical power shield. At this moment, his physical defense was strengthened to the extreme. It could be said that even if Jun Xiaoyao stood there and let Yang Pan and Fahai fight, they wouldn't be able to break through Jun Xiaoyao's defense. All kinds of void storms and void ripples hit Jun Xiaoyao's body fiercely, causing him to shake violently. If it were anyone else, even a genius from the immortal realm, their physical body would be directly shattered by this level of attack. But for Jun Xiaoyao, it could only make his body shake and his blood boil. What a terrifying void power! If I don't have some skills, I'll definitely die if I'm swallowed, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. Only he would dare to take such a risk and enter. As for why? Naturally, it was because Jun Xiaoyao had a guess in his heart. The coiling Emperor Void Sword might be in the ancient Void Kuan's body. Of course, this was only Jun Xiaoyao's guess. However, his divine palace true spirit had become extremely sensitive after being tempered by the chaos divine grindstone visualization method. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao's perception far surpassed Yang Pan and the others. Moreover, ordinary people would instinctively think that the real treasure would be in the ancient Void Palace when they encountered such a situation. No one would think that the treasure would be hidden in the ancient Void Kuan's body. The most dangerous place was the safest place. This was the reason why Jun Xiaoyao was willing to take action and be swallowed by the ancient Void Kuan. It wasn't what Jiang Luoli thought at all. He was sacrificing himself for her. Jun Xiaoyao probably didn't know that his choice had inadvertently increased Jiang Luoli's favorability. If Jiang Luoli's love for Jun Xiaoyao before was hopeless, then now she was the kind of person who could sacrifice her life for Jun Xiaoyao. Because in her eyes, Jun Xiaoyao could also sacrifice his life for her. That void fluctuation power should still be in the depths. Jun Xiaoyao looked into the depth. He cut through the thorns and thistles. With the coiling Emperor Time sword in hand, he cut through the void storm in front of him and rushed into the depth. The body of the ancient Void Kuan was a self-formed space. It was extremely vast and was not inferior to a small continent. Along the way, Jun Xiaoyao even encountered a strange living being. Those living beings were in human form, but their bodies were like clouds that were filled with the power of the void. Spirit of the void? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly. The spirit of the void was a kind of living being formed in the space within the ancient Void Kuan's body. It was similar to a parasite-like existence. If some living beings were swallowed by the ancient Void Kuan and barely survived because of luck, then these spirits of the void would appear and kill the living beings. The spirits of the void swarmed toward Jun Xiaoyao as soon as they saw him, as if they were sharks that had smelled blood. Jun Xiaoyao held the coiling Emperor Time sword in his hand and executed the Jun family's immortal slaying sword technique. Now Jun Xiaoyao had mastered the 3 moves of the immortal slaying sword technique: immortal fall, immortal extermination, and immortal slaying. He slashed out with the immortal slaying sword. A vast sword light burst forth as if reflecting the scene of the immortals falling. Those spirits of the void exploded under this sword, turning into the purest void energy. Jun Xiaoyao didn't stop walking. He took out the demon wings on his back. His body shot into the depths like an arrow. However, a moment later, he suddenly saw the void in front of him distort. An incomparably huge void vortex appeared. Within it, an ancient sword could be seen flickering in and out of existence at the center of the whirlpool. Coiling Emperor Void Sword. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 251. That ancient sword was similar in shape to the Coiling Emperor Time sword and the Coiling Emperor Life sword. However, its entire body was filled with the power of the void, appearing and disappearing in the void. The entire huge void vortex was spinning with the Coiling Emperor Void Sword as the origin. Any existence that approached the Coiling Emperor Void Sword would be directly minced into pieces. Perhaps even Yang Pan didn't expect that the Coiling Emperor Void Sword he wanted was not in the Void Ancient Palace, but in the body of this ancient Void Kuan. I have the Coiling Emperor Time Sword and the Coiling Emperor Void Sword in front of me. Then, I will kill Yang Pan and seize the Coiling Emperor Life Sword. When the 3 swords combine, the Emperor Weapon, Coiling Emperor Sword, will reappear in my hands. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. Emperor weapons were the weapons of great emperors. They were extremely powerful. Their deterrence was comparable to nuclear weapons. Perhaps Pan Wu Divine Master and the others of the Jin dynasty would never have thought that the person who had truly collected the Emperor Weapon, Coiling Emperor Sword, was not Yang Pan, but him, Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's figure flashed towards the coiling Emperor Void Sword. The coiling Emperor Void Sword seemed to have instinctively sensed some kind of danger. A storm rose in the surrounding void. Jun Xiaoyao activated the power of the coiling Emperor Time Sword. When this power spread out, the coiling Emperor Void Sword sensed an aura of the same origin and began to slowly stabilize. Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his hand and burst forth with magic power. He directly grabbed the coiling Emperor Void Sword and placed it in his hand. Boom! The moment Jun Xiaoyao held the coiling Emperor Void Sword in his hand, he seemed to feel the endless power of space around him. The originally illusory space seemed to have become countless layers of space in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. He even felt that he could easily tear the void apart with a swing of his sword. It's about time to go out. I wonder how Yang Pan and the others will react? Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and chuckled. He held the coiling Emperor Time Sword in one hand and the coiling Emperor Void Sword in the other. The two swords slashed into the depths of the void. It was as if Pangu wanted to split the world apart. At the same time, outside the ancient Void Kuan, at the entrance of the ancient Void Palace, Yang Pan and Fa Hai appeared in a flash. Yang Pan's expression was unsightly. There were indeed many treasures in the ancient Void Palace. However, there was no coiling Emperor Void Sword. That's not right. There should be no mistake about the resonance from before. But why isn't there any in the ancient palace? Yang Pan was puzzled. On the other hand, Fahai's expression was calm and composed. He didn't think it was a pity. Most importantly, Jun Xiaoyao was dead. A knot in his heart had also been untied. Yang Pan also thought of this. He sighed and said, "Forget it. Although we didn't find the Pan Huang Void Sword, at least Jun Xiaoyao is dead." In Yang Pan's eyes, killing Jun Xiaoyao was more important than obtaining the Pan Huang Void Sword. "I, Jiang Luoli, will not let you go. I will never let you go, even if I die." Jiang Luoli's beautiful eyes carried a bone-chilling coldness, as if she had turned into a dark loli. A heart-palpitating chill was emitted from her body. The spirit chi of heaven and earth seemed to be about to boil and enter a berserk state. As expected of the elemental spirit Tao body, ranked in the top 100 of the 3,000 physique. Just her emotions alone can affect the circulation of the spirit chi of heaven and earth. Seeing this scene, Yang Pan clicked his tongue and sighed. On the other hand, Fahai looked at Jiang Luoli's snow-white and cute face with an evil glint in his eyes. He had a Buddha body and a demon heart. Because of the influence of the demon heart, his actions tended to be evil. "Brother Yang, I feel that letting this girl go is like letting a tiger return to the mountain. Why don't we?" Fahai revealed a trace of a smile, but it was incomparably evil. Hearing this, Yang Pan's eyes flickered. They had already offended the Jun family. If they offended the Jiang family, it would be very stressful for the Jin dynasty. However, thinking that even if they let Jiang Luoli go, she would still take revenge. Since that was the case, they might as well get rid of her directly. Sure. Yang Pan nodded. After all, there wouldn't be any guardians in this crack of the 10 worlds. They rushed towards the bound Jiang Luoli with sinister smiles on their faces. Jiang Luoli bit her lips. Just as she was about to fight to the death, the ancient Void Kuan suddenly started to roll in the sky and kept roaring. What's going on? Yang Pan, Fahai, Fang Han and the others were all shocked. And Jiang Luoli's body shook as if she had thought of something. She was so excited that tears appeared in her eyes. "I knew it. Brother Xiaoyao won't die so easily." Jiang Luoli was extremely happy. Sure enough, at the next moment, under the shocked gazes of Yang Pan and the others, a sword aura directly cut open the ancient Void Kuan's body and the power of the void exploded. A peerless figure in a white robe stepped out unhurriedly. It was Jun Xiaoyao. This, Yang Pan and the others were dumbfounded. Their minds seemed to have been frozen in an instant and they couldn't come back to their senses. Did they see a ghost? Yang Pan didn't expect that Jun Xiaoyao would survive after being swallowed by the ancient Void Kuan. Instead, he cut open the ancient Void Koan's body and slowly walked out. This had completely overturned everyone's imagination. The prodigies who had been observing the situation not far away also froze on the spot as if they had been petrified. They could imagine how powerful Yang Pan and the others were. That meant that Jun Xiaoyao's powers were far beyond what they could have imagined. They even wondered if Jun Xiaoyao was an old monster who had regained his youth. Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? Brother Xiaoyao! Jiang Luoli cried tears of joy. This feeling of regaining something that had been lost was too emotional. Jun Xiaoyao nodded at Jiang Luoli and then looked at Yang Pan and the others. Yang Pan, Fahai, and Fang Han's hearts sank slightly. Jun Xiaoyao, you. Yang Pan opened his mouth but couldn't say anything. What else could he say? Even the ancient Void Koan couldn't kill Jun Xiaoyao. Unless Jun Xiaoyao committed suicide, there was no way they could defeat Jun Xiaoyao. Fang Han also thought of this and shouted, Jun Xiaoyao, if you dare to attack, she will definitely die. Fang Han's words made Jun Xiaoyao's eyes turn cold. He hated being threatened the most. Fang Han, you must die, Jun Xiaoyao said. Fang Han activated the sacrificial talisman and approached Jiang Luoli. Try it if you dare. Fang Han's eyes were bloodshot. However, he didn't notice that an ancient sword had quietly appeared in the void behind him. It was the Coiling Emperor Void Sword. The Coiling Emperor Void Sword had the power of the void, but it was lifeless and had merged into the void. Fang Han didn't notice it at all. Oh no. When Yang Pan's gaze fell on Fang Han, his expression changed. Die. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking. The Coiling Emperor Void Sword instantly pierced into Fang Han's head, and sword energy burst forth. The power of the void was chaotic. In a breath, Fang Han's physical body and primordial spirit were shattered into nothingness. The heaven-defying child Fang Han had fallen. Seeing this scene, Yang Pan and Fahai felt a chill in their hearts. Especially Yang Pan. After seeing the Coiling Emperor Void Sword, his eyes widened and his pupils trembled. He finally understood why Jun Xiaoyao was so obedient in the beginning. It was because he had long expected that the Coiling Emperor Void Sword might be in the ancient Void Koan's body. It seemed that he and Fang Han had schemed against Jun Xiaoyao. In reality, Jun Xiaoyao had beaten them at their own game and schemed against them instead. Jun Xiaoyao's scheming and shrewdness were too terrifying. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand, and the Coiling Emperor Void Sword appeared in his hand. In his other hand, he held the Coiling Emperor Time Sword. Have you thought of your last words? Jun Xiaoyao held the sword with both hands and stood in the void. His eyes were filled with indifferent killing intent, as if he was the supreme emperor who ruled over life and death. At this moment, Yang Pan and Fahai only felt endless despair drowning their hearts. Everything was over. There was only one price to pay for angering Jun Xiaoyao. That was death. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 252. It was hard to imagine that the famous marquis champion of the Panwu Jin dynasty was actually trembling like a sieve at this moment. He looked at the Pan Huang Time Sword and Pan Huang Void Sword in Jun Xiaoyao's hands and instantly understood everything. Jun Xiaoyao had actually been scheming against him all this time. It was even possible that Jun Xiaoyao had already started to have designs on the Pan Huang sword when he was in the Panwu Jin dynasty. He, Yang Pan, had completely become a leak. Now it was about time for Jun Xiaoyao to start harvesting. It had to be said that Jun Xiaoyao's scheme was too ruthless. Jun Xiaoyao, so your goal from the beginning has been the Pan Huang sword. Yang Pan gritted his teeth. He had no idea when Jun Xiaoyao had obtained the Pan Huang Time sword. Jun Xiaoyao had also never revealed it publicly in the Immortal region. It seems like you're not that stupid. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a trace of cold mockery. Yang Pan, who was slow to realize, had already lost all his chances. This Pan Huang sword belongs to the Panwu Jin dynasty. Aren't you afraid of angering the Panwu Jin dynasty after obtaining it? Yang Pan had no choice but to use the Panwu Jin dynasty's name. Would this son of God care? Jun Xiaoyao found it very laughable. Hearing this, Yang Pan's heart sank to the bottom. Indeed, during the prince consort selection ceremony for Wu Mingyue, Jun Xiaoyao's protector directly killed the prince of the Panwu Jin dynasty. In the end, didn't the Panwu Jin dynasty still have to swallow their pride? The Panwu Jin dynasty didn't have the confidence to go against the Jun family at all. Thinking of this, Yang Pan felt powerless. Fahai was also in the same mood as him. He had walked out of the little western paradise with great ambition. In the end, he failed at the first stop at the Heavenly Dao Tower and was brutally abused by Jun Xiaoyao. Now that he had obtained an opportunity in the mortal world and had completely awakened the devil's heart of Buddha, he did not expect that he would still be no match for Jun Xiaoyao. This opponent was too terrifying. He was simply invincible. Jun Xiaoyao didn't waste any time and attacked with his sword. His cultivation was already heaven-defying, and with the support of Pan Huang's twin swords, he was like a tiger that had grown wings. A casual slash of the coiling Emperor Void's sword could shatter the void for 10,000 miles. The coiling Emperor Time's sword slashed out, and the power of time spread out, dissolving everything. Under Jun Xiaoyao's relentless attacks, Yang Pan and Fahai were simply putting up a deathbed struggle. Even if they released all their strength and resisted with all their might, they would not be able to resist Jun Xiaoyao. They did have some protective treasures on them. However, under Jun Xiaoyao's ferocious attacks, these protective treasures were all reduced to ashes. In the end, Yang Pan roared and activated the coiling Emperor Life Sword to the extreme, wanting to fight to the death. However, he was directly beheaded by Jun Xiaoyao, and his blood splattered across the sky. Yang Pan's head flew high into the sky. His twisted face was filled with anger, unwillingness, and despair. He started off as a horse breeder and was extremely lucky. He rose all the way to become the marquee champion of the Jin dynasty. His journey was smooth until he met Jun Xiaoyao in the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird. His fate took a turn. Over and over again, he was defeated and embarrassed by Jun Xiaoyao's attacks. Now, he finally lost his life in Jun Xiaoyao's hands. When Fahai saw this scene, his demonic heart was about to collapse. He lost all his will to fight and turned to leave. Jun Xiaoyao attacked with the immortal slaying sword art, and sword chi spread across 10,000 miles. Fahai used all his means, but in front of this sword, he was still like a piece of paper. His body was torn apart, and blood splattered everywhere. The marquee champion of the Jin dynasty of Panwu. The Arhat of the Little Western Paradise. They were all dead. One could imagine that if this news were to spread to the mystic realm, it would cause a huge shock. The Imperial Study. Because the Panwu Jin dynasty was the immortal Jin dynasty, and the Little Western Paradise was also an immortal orthodoxy. Previously, the fallen son of God of the fallen God Palace was indirectly killed by Jun Xiaoyao. In addition to the Little Western Paradise, the Panwu Jin dynasty, and the Demon God Palace, Jun Xiaoyao's trip to the lower realm provoked 4 immortal forces. This did not take into account the Archean royalty. Otherwise, he would have provoked even more forces. It could be said that if it were any other successor of an immortal force, they would not dare to do so. They would be flustered. However, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. Killing these 2 people was like slaughtering 2 dogs. There was not much of a reaction. Jun Xiaoyao had the confidence to kill. Among the 3 families of the Huang clan, 2 of them were his backers. There was also the Holy Spirit College, whose disciples were all over the Huangtian mystic realm, behind him. Jun Xiaoyao was not weak. After seeing Jun Xiaoyao take care of these 2 people so cleanly, the surrounding geniuses hurriedly scattered, afraid that they would be angered. Jun Xiaoyao used the god-devouring demonic technique and turned Fa Hai's flesh and blood essence into pure energy. After all, the energy of the Buddha's demonic heart was still very strong. With a wave of his hand, the Pan Huang sword of life broke through the air and fell into his hand. At this point, Jun Xiaoyao had completely gathered the three swords of Pan Huang. He could also feel the close connection between these three swords. Then, Jun Xiaoyao reached out and grabbed the sacrificial talisman in his hand. He used his divine power and squeezed hard. This treasure of destiny of the hidden dragon continent was crushed by Jun Xiaoyao with a crack. Then, the endless power of the origin of the world spread out like a geyser. In the end, it turned into a ball of golden origin of the world that was faintly surrounded by imperial dragon qi. It was the origin of the hidden dragon continent. Jun Xiaoyao accepted it with a smile. Until now, Jun Xiaoyao had already collected the origin of the 5 continents of Tianxian, Xingqian, Sunluo, Wanxiang, and Hidden Dragon. This was equivalent to Jun Xiaoyao monopolizing half of the 10 earthly origins of the lower realm. I'm one step closer to collecting the origin of the 10 realms. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. This time, his harvest was too great. He had obtained the Pan Huang Sword of Life and the Pan Huang Void Sword, as well as the origin of the Hidden Dragon continent. He had also solved the 2 small problems of Yang Pan and Fa Hai. This feeling of harvesting leeks was too satisfying. It was simply addictive. At that moment, Jiang Luoli rushed to Jun Xiaoyao like a sparrow returning to its nest. She hugged him tightly, her arms hugging him tightly. Boo-hoo, brother Xiaoyao, it's all because Luoli is too stupid. I've dragged you down. Don't sacrifice yourself for Luoli next time. Luoli isn't worth brother Xiaoyao's sacrifice. Jiang Luoli buried her small face in Jun Xiaoyao's arms, tears falling like rain. Seeing Jiang Luoli's attitude, Jun Xiaoyao was a little stunned. The reason why he went to the ancient Void Kuan's body was only to investigate the whereabouts of the Pan Huang Void Sword. It had nothing to do with Jiang Luoli. Seeing Jiang Luoli so touched, Jun Xiaoyao didn't know what to say for a moment. Was this considered flirting? But Jun Xiaoyao really didn't have such thoughts. It could only be said that an unintentional willow had grown. Alright, don't cry. It's just a small matter. Don't take it to heart. Jun Xiaoyao patted Jiang Luoli's little head. This warm pat on the head made Jiang Luoli cry loudly. She was very guilty and self-reproachful. Her long eyelashes were covered in tears. Only by experiencing loss would one cherish it more. The moment Jun Xiaoyao was swallowed, Jiang Luoli really thought that she would never see Jun Xiaoyao again. Jun Xiaoyao sighed in his heart, feeling helpless. Chapter 253. Jun Xiaoyao tried his best to calm Jiang Luoli down. She stopped crying. At the same time, when she thought of how Jun Xiaoyao was willing to take the risk for her, her heart was filled with happiness. Big brother Xiaoyao, that? Jiang Luoli wrung her fingers. What? Jun Xiaoyao asked. After returning to the celestial realm this time, do you want to tell mother to hold the engagement party first? Jiang Luoli smiled shyly. Ahem. Jun Xiaoyao coughed dryly. The date hasn't even been set yet, and she's already calling me mother. And you're a girl, do you have to be so proactive? Let's go, the greatest opportunity is in the depths of the rift of the 10 realms. Jun Xiaoyao was afraid of this girl. She was too proactive, and it was a little unbearable. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's back view, Jiang Luoli pouted, but she still had a sweet smile on her face. She snorted and said, I didn't expect big brother Xiaoyao to have such a tsundra side. But it doesn't matter, Luoli has already set her sights on you. Jiang Luoli grinded her small canine teeth and chuckled. If Jun Xiaoyao heard this, he would probably complain again. Her canine teeth hurt. Jun Xiaoyao rushed straight into the depths of the rift of the 10 realms. Because he didn't forget that he still had a chance to sign in at the altar of heroes. The martyr's altar was the opportunity he valued the most. This transformation might cause his realm to skyrocket, and he would far surpass his peers. As for the remaining 5 world sources, Jun Xiaoyao wasn't worried. He had already vaguely sensed that the other 5 world sources were in the rift of the 10 realms, on the bodies of some prodigies. Finally, the second volume of the physical book. Jun Xiaoyao felt that, in the lower realms, only the rift of the 10 realms might have the second volume of the physical book, because if it appeared in the 10 continents, it would have been discovered long ago. The rift between the 10 realms was the most secretive place. Since ancient times, not many people had been able to enter it. Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao continued to explore. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao's 2 followers, Yu and Yan Qingying, were also looking for their own opportunities. Yan Qingying came to a deathly silent land. The land was pitch black in color. All the plants and creatures seemed to have withered as their life force was absorbed. At first glance, it didn't look like a place with treasures. Those geniuses who were lucky enough to enter the rift of the 10 realms would not waste their time in such a place. However, Yan Qingying had come over for some reason. Even she herself didn't quite understand it. It was just that subconsciously there seemed to be some kind of attraction that was pulling her over. Yan Qingying kept moving forward. In front of her was a deep valley. Waves of dark energy kept sweeping through it. All of the surrounding spiritual qi of heaven and earth seemed to be sucked into it along with the tide. Yan Qingying's beautiful eyes flickered. She twisted her delicate body and flashed in. In the core of the valley, there was a pitch-black energy source. If one looked carefully, they would see it. In the black energy source, there was a pitch-black seed. The pitch-black seed was dark and deep, as if it was pure black. It was as if the dark energy of heaven and earth had gathered together and compressed into such a seed. That's the darkness immortal seed. Yan Qingying's beautiful eyes that were as dark as the night stars shone with an unprecedented luster. When she inherited the god-devouring demonic technique, she had also obtained some information. It also recorded what was the most suitable immortal seed for the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. And the darkness immortal seed was the most suitable immortal seed for the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. Yan Qingying did not expect that there would be an immortal seed in the rift between the 10 realms. She also did not expect that it would be the most suitable darkness immortal seed for her. Together, Master is right. I have my own opportunity. Yan Qingying's beautiful eyes were very bright. At this moment, she admired Jun Xiaoyao even more. He was simply a divine foresight. It would be difficult for her not to rule the world in the future if she followed such a master. However, just as Yan Qingying was about to take the darkness immortal seed, suddenly, a chaotic mist filled the void, and a palm print surrounded by chaotic qi pressed down from the sky. Yan Qingying was caught off guard, and could only temporarily dodge. The darkness immortal seed was directly grabbed by the palm print. Who is it? Yan Qingying's snow-white face was cold, and her beautiful face was filled with killing intent. She was only a little girl and a gentle girl in front of Jun Xiaoyao. She did not have a good expression when facing others. In the sky, 2 figures, one male and one female, appeared. The man's face was like jade, and he wore a reddish-gold robe. Chaotic qi surrounded him, and he was filled with a powerful aura. As for the woman, she sat cross-legged on a green lotus, and immortal light surrounded her. Her face was covered with a veil, making it difficult for others to see her clearly. She was like a female immortal who was isolated from the mortal world. These 2 people were the strongest heaven-defying Sun, Li Daoxian, and Ji Qingyi. My luck is indeed not bad. I even obtained a darkness immortal seed. Li Daoxian played with the darkness immortal seed in his hand, and there was a leisurely smile on his handsome face. These words made Yan Qingying's face turn cold. This darkness immortal seed was clearly an opportunity that belonged to her. However, the man in front of her had snatched it away. However, she could also feel that Li Daoxian was not ordinary. Moreover, the aura on his body gave Yan Qingying a faint sense of oppression. However, the one that Yan Qingying feared the most was Ji Qingyi. Her aura was too celestial. She even had a trace of an aura similar to Jun Xiaoyao's. They were both so otherworldly. Fortunately, Yan Qingying could feel that Ji Qingyi did not have any intention of attacking her. She was just watching from the side. "Who are you?" Yan Qingying's pitch-black beautiful eyes were as deep as a black hole, emitting a heart-palpitating devouring power. Seeing this, Li Daoxian said indifferently, "I can feel that you are one of the 10 heaven-defying children. I will give you a chance. Hand over the world's origin energy and submit to me. Then I can spare your life." Hearing Li Daoxuan's words, Yan Qingying finally understood. She understood why Li Daoxian could vaguely give her a sense of oppression. It was because he was very likely the strongest existence among the 10 heaven-defying children. He was also the so-called Gu King. What, no reaction? I have already killed 2 of the 10 heaven-defying children. I don't mind killing one more. Li Daoxuan's face slowly darkened. The 10 heaven-defying children had a faint sense of each other. Li Daoxian had coincidentally sensed Yan Qingying's aura, which was why he had followed her all the way here. Hearing Li Daoxuan's threat, Yan Qingying smiled coldly. Did he think that he was great just because he had killed 2 heaven-defying children? Her master, Jun Xiaoyao, had killed many more heaven-defying children than Li Daoxian. Give up. I have already given my world's origin energy to my master. Moreover, I will only be loyal to him forever, Yan Qingying said coldly. What? Hearing this, Li Daoxuan's face was as dark as water. He did not expect that someone had already subdued Yan Qingying. Moreover, Yan Qingying had even taken the initiative to give away the world's origin energy. You deserve to die. Chapter 254. Li Daoxian was a little embarrassed. In his opinion, as one of the 10 heaven-defying children, how could she submit to others so easily? Yan Qingying's actions were a humiliation to Li Daoxian, who was also one of the 10 heaven-defying children. Not to mention that she had even offered up the world's origin energy. This was something that Li Daoxian could not tolerate. The world's origin energy was something that he had to obtain. Who is your master? Li Daoxian asked coldly as he attacked. He wanted to know who could subdue this arrogant heaven-defying child. Yan Qingying did not answer. She waved her hand, which transformed into a terrifying devouring vortex that collided with Li Daoxuan's attack. Seeing Yan Qingying's attack, Ji Qingyi's clear eyes suddenly flashed with light. That move, could it be? Ji Qingyi murmured in her heart. Yan Qingying's ability reminded her of a rather famous demonic art in the immortal region. The creator of the demonic art was notorious. He went around devouring others. In the end, he angered everyone and was heavily injured. In the end, he disappeared without a trace. The people of the immortal region all thought that the creator of the demonic art was already dead. However, Ji Qingyi did not expect to see such a notorious demonic art in the lower realm. If this news spread to the immortal region, who knew how many waves it would cause? After all, many factions were harmed by the creator of the demonic art. However, Ji Qingyi did not act rashly. She observed carefully. On the other hand, Li Daoxian was merciless. He decided to first forcefully suppress Yan Qingying, then force her to find her master, and finally take back the world's origin energy. However, to Li Daoxuan's surprise, Yan Qingying's strength far exceeded his expectations. With his identity as the strongest heaven-defying child, dealing with the other heaven-defying children was no different from chopping melons and vegetables. However, facing Yan Qingying, he was unable to gain an absolute advantage. He naturally did not understand that Yan Qingying had first devoured the fallen son of God, and then devoured the Sky Demon Prince's demon god bloodline. It could be said that in terms of talent and potential, Yan Qingying was not inferior to the top prodigies of the immortal region. The successor of the god-devouring demonic art improved extremely quickly. If she didn't have this potential, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't have gone against the fallen son of God for her. Li Daoxian formed a seal with one hand, and a seal surrounded by chaotic aura appeared. Everywhere it passed, space cracked, and it suppressed Yan Qingying. Behind Yan Qingying, the black and white fallen angel wings flap. Yin and Yang Qi circulated and transformed into two beams of divine light that shot out and collided with the chaotic Dharma seal. She waved her hands and summoned another devouring vortex. At the same time, a demonic figure appeared behind her. That was the effect of the demon god bloodline. There was nothing special about Yan Qingying's physique. The only special thing about her was that she could contain any kind of power. The power of the fallen Son of God and the power of the demonic god's bloodline were all absorbed by her and refined perfectly. Damn it! Seeing that he couldn't easily suppress Yan Qingying, Li Daoxuan's face turned ugly. Of course, his strength was not limited to this. He did not even use the world's origin energy. However, this feeling of not being able to suppress her made him very unhappy. He lost face in front of Ji Qingyi. However, Ji Qingyi, who had been watching the battle from the side, was completely sure. Yan Qingying was the successor of the god-devouring demonic art. If the god-devouring demonic art reappears in the world, it won't be a good thing if it's not controlled. Ji Qingyi had some thoughts. She started to consider recruiting Yan Qingying. In terms of value, Yan Qingying was definitely not inferior to Li Daoxian. Moreover, both the Ji family and the human immortal sect had the ability to nurture the successor of the god-devouring demonic art. Thinking of this, Ji Qingyi said, "You are the successor of the god-devouring demonic art. Are you willing to join the Ji family or the human immortal sect?" Hearing Ji Qingyi's words, Li Daoxuan's eyes flashed coldly. Logically speaking, it should be something to be proud of for a lower world genius to be recruited by a celestial realm faction. However, Yan Qingying had a mocking expression on her face as she said, "I have said that I will only be loyal to my master for all eternity. You might not know what the Ji family and the human immortal sect represent. If the master behind you heard about these two powers, he would definitely be terrified." Ji Qingyi's voice was as cold as a spring as she said indifferently, "The Ji family and the human immortal sect. One was a clan of the ancients, while the other was an imperishable orthodoxy." In her eyes, no matter how strong Yan Qingying's master was, he was just a genius of a large faction in the celestial realm. Even the successor of an imperishable orthodoxy would be wary of the Ji family and the human immortal sect. However, Yan Qingying still had a fearless expression on her face. She knew how powerful her master, Jun Xiaoyao's background was. "Who is your master? Ask him to come and see me." Ji Qingyi's eyes were calm, and her tone was aloof. "Humph, truly a frog at the bottom of a well. To be able to be fancied by Fairy Qing-yi is a blessing that you can't cultivate even in 10 lifetimes. What does that master of yours count for when compared to Fairy Qing-yi?" Li Daoxian said with a cold smile. "My master is the son of God of the Jun family, Jun Xiaoyao," Yan Qingying said confidently as she stared at Ji Qingyi. Heaven and earth seemed to be silent for a moment after she said that. The calmness in Ji Qingyi's eyes was instantly broken. A huge wave was created. This was an expression that Li Daoxian had never seen before. "What did you say? Jun Xiaoyao?" Ji Qingyi took a deep breath as her chest heaved up and down. She had expected that Jun Xiaoyao might enter the crack of the 10 worlds. However, she had not expected that the master behind the successor of the god-swallowing demonic art was actually Jun Xiaoyao. "What? Jun Xiaoyao? It's him?" Li Daoxian frowned slightly. He had already known how powerful Jun Xiaoyao was from Ji Qingyi. However, he had not thought much of it and was even a little jealous. This was because Ji Qingyi's demeanor would only change when Jun Xiaoyao was mentioned. It was as if she had turned from a high and mighty deity into a human. However, Ji Qingyi was still high and mighty when facing him. He could only look at her from afar. "This is troublesome." Ji Qingyi frowned. She was very smart and did not want to provoke Jun Xiaoyao. However, Li Daoxian had already unknowingly become enemies with Jun Xiaoyao. I'll leave this darkness immortal seed with you for now. I will personally take it back. Yan Qingying looked deeply at Li Daoxian. The fallen angel wings on her back flapped and her body flashed into the distance. Li Daoxian did not chase after her because she did not have the origin energy of the realm on her. Sigh, I can't avoid it in the end. Ji Qingyi shook her head slightly. Perhaps this was the will of the heavens. Fairy Qingyi, is there a need to be so wary of Jun Xiaoyao? Is my strength not enough to deal with him? Li Daoxian frowned. The greatest insult to a man was that he was not as good as another man. Ji Qingyi looked at Li Daoxian and did not say anything. However, she was thinking in her heart, if you can't even suppress his followers, how can you deal with him? Compared to Jun Xiaoyao, Li Daoxian was still too young. We can only take one step at a time. Let's quickly enter the deepest part of the crack of the 10 worlds and leave after finding the opportunity. Otherwise, you might not be able to walk out of the crack of the 10 worlds safely. Ji Qingyi looked at Li Daoxian and said. This was already a warning. Li Daoxuan's eyes darkened. He was protected by the heavens and had a smooth journey. He had never met with any setbacks. However, Ji Qingyi's advice was no different from humiliation in his eyes. How bad was he in Ji Qingyi's eyes? They had not even fought, and she already thought that he was not as good as Jun Xiaoyao. Li Daoxian felt extremely wronged. He even wanted to fight with Jun Xiaoyao personally to prove his ability to Ji Qingyi. Chapter 255. In the Rift of the 10 Realms, Jun Xiaoyao and Jiang Luoli flew towards the deepest part of the rift. Jun Xiaoyao did not need to care about the other opportunities in the Rift of the 10 Realms. However, the Hero Spirit Altar was the opportunity that he valued the most. It was related to his transformation. The deeper they went, the more the token sachet in Jun Xiaoyao's hand emitted a resonance. It was obvious that he was not far from the Hero Spirit Altar. At that moment, a beautiful figure flew over from afar. It was Yan Qingying. Young master. Yan Qingying called out when she saw Jun Xiaoyao. What's wrong? Jun Xiaoyao asked when he saw that Yan Qingying's hair was slightly messy and she had a fighting aura. Yan Qingying then told him everything that had happened. I see. Ji Qingyi has also come to the lower realm and has formed an alliance with a heaven-defying child. However, that heaven-defying child is obviously not simple. He has the 3 realms' origins, Jun Xiaoyao said. Yan Qingying said that the heaven-defying child had once killed the other 2 heaven-defying children. It meant that he alone had the 3 realms' origins. Ordinary heaven-defying children could not be so strong. Young master, I'm sorry. Did I cause trouble for you? Yan Qingying said weakly. She was like a cold queen of darkness in front of Li Daoxian and the others. However, in front of Jun Xiaoyao, she was like a gentle girl. Ha, it's nothing. Not only did you not cause me trouble, but you also brought me a fat sheep. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. The heaven-defying child called Li Daoxian had the 3 realms' origins. It saved Jun Xiaoyao the effort of collecting the world's origins. He had the 5 realms' origins, while Li Daoxian had the 3 realms' origins. Jun Xiaoyao believed that the remaining 2 realms' origins must be with a certain prodigy in the Rift of the 10 Realms. That was because the prodigy who could obtain the world's origins would definitely be able to enter the Rift of the 10 Realms. Don't worry. Your Darkness Immortal Seed will definitely be retrieved, comforted Jun Xiaoyao. Thank you, young master. Yan Qingying bowed, and the love hidden deep in her eyes could not be completely concealed. This made Jiang Luoli pout, but she didn't say anything. Didn't this prove that her big brother Xiaoyao was so charming that no woman could resist him? Of course, this also made Jiang Luoli feel a sense of danger. She began to think about how she could take over Jun Xiaoyao first. Isn't it time to cook the rice? Jun Xiaoyao didn't notice the slyness in Jiang Luoli's big eyes at all. Just as he was about to set off, in the distant sky, a figure flashed over again. It was EU. At this moment, EU's aura was still at the Tao integration realm. However, he had a different feeling from before. Young master. EU cupped his fists at Jun Xiaoyao with a hint of excitement on his face. Seems like you've gained a lot of opportunities. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. That's right. EU stretched out his hand and flames surged. A scarlet fire seed was burning. This is the Xianyang divine fire? Jun Xiaoyao was a little surprised. EU didn't need to look for the immortal seed to reach the Tao integration realm because he had already merged with a Sun True seed and become a Tao integration realm expert. The realm after the Tao integration realm was the Nirvana realm. The Nirvana realm was to find a suitable fire seed to undergo Nirvana and transform the Divine Palace True Spirit into a small primordial spirit. The Xianyang Divine Fire was an extremely rare and powerful fire seed. It was also very compatible with EU's own cultivation attribute. That's right. You can wait until you reach the Hero Spirit altar before refining the fire seed to undergo Nirvana. It should be very beneficial for you. Jun Xiaoyao said. EU's choice to not merge with the Xianyang Divine Fire immediately was the right choice. Yes, thank you for your advice. Jun Xiaoyao's suggestion was to help EU improve his strength and make him stronger. EU was even more grateful to have such a master who took care of him. He was even more determined to follow Jun Xiaoyao. Alright, let's go. The geniuses in the 10 Realms Rift should be gathering at the altar now. Jun Xiaoyao said. After the 4 of them gathered again, they rushed towards the deepest part of the 10 Realms Rift together. Just as Jun Xiaoyao and the others were about to move, the other geniuses in the 10 Realms Rift also rushed towards the deepest part at the same time. And the deeper they went, the more they discovered that there were extremely powerful remnant souls and resentful spirits. These remnant souls and resentful spirits seemed to be living beings that had perished near the Hero Spirit altar. Every remnant soul was extremely powerful. Occasionally, there would be geniuses that perished beneath the hands of these remnant souls. Bang! In another world, 2 figures appeared. One of them was a handsome youth in a black and gold robe. He reached out his hand. The power of samsara surged, tearing apart a remnant soul in front of him. This pale and handsome youth was the ancient freak of the samsara demon sect, River of Forgetfulness, and beside him was a young girl in a short black skirt. She was as pure and charming as an enchantress. She was naturally the demon celestial cult's Xiao Maxian. We should be arriving at the Hero Spirit altar soon. That is the origin point where the destiny of the 10 Realms Rift gathers. There are great lucky chances there. Xiao Maxian blinked her bright eyes, a look of anticipation in them. Your enemy, the saintess of the human celestial cult, should also go there. River of Forgetfulness lightly said. Hee, at that time, the brave will emerge victorious. Xiao Maxian chuckled. The 2 of them continued forward. Along the way, the remnant souls and resentful spirits weren't able to stop them at all. Finally, around 2 hours passed. They arrived at the deepest part of the 10 Realms Rift. Looking around, even Xiao Maxian and River of Forgetfulness felt their minds shake. This was because this land was a deep white. This wasn't the color of the soil, but the color of white bones. Countless white bones covered the earth. And at the end of this land of bones, there was a pyramid-shaped altar. It stood tall, exuding a wild, primitive, ancient, and mysterious aura. This ancient altar was also covered with bones. Just looking at it made one's scalp tingle. Was this a land of lucky chances or a burial ground? Is that the Hero Spirit altar? Xiao Maxian looked at the altar covered in bones. Her face was no longer as relaxed and playful as before, but rather dignified and dignified. I, River of Forgetfulness, have been buried in the lower realms for so long because of this lucky chance. I want to transform on the Hero Spirit altar and walk down an unprecedented road. River of Forgetfulness let out a deep breath. To walk down a road that no one had ever walked down before, this was likely the common goal of all peerless proud children of heaven. But those that could truly walk down this broad road were far, far too few, nearly zero. Of course, if one followed the path of their predecessors, they could also confirm their Tao and become an emperor, climbing to the peak. But in the end, people were ambitious. There was no need to mention an ancient freak like River of Forgetfulness. In the surroundings, there were also a small number of proud children of heaven that arrived. As they saw the scene in front of them, they fell into a state of shock. "Let's go." Xiao Maxian's eyes flashed. She wanted to climb the hero spirit altar with River of Forgetfulness. But at this time, a voice as cold as a spring echoed out. "Xiao Maxian, you really are here." Chapter 256. Hearing this familiar voice, Xiao Maxian paused her steps and turned around to look. Two figures had arrived. It was Ji Qingyi and Li Daoxian. For a time, the atmosphere froze. On one side was the saintess of the human immortal sect and the strongest heaven-defying child. On the other side was the saintess of the demon immortal sect and the ancient freak of the demon sect of Samsara. The atmosphere in the surrounding area seemed to have changed. As for the other geniuses who came here, none of them dared to move. If they wanted to ascend the heroic spirit altar, they would most likely be targeted by Ji Qingyi and Xiao Maxian. Therefore, the surroundings of the martyr's altar fell into a strange silence. In this silence, Xiao Maxian was the first to break it. She grinned, her pure and beautiful face carrying a trace of charm. She chuckled and said, "So it's Sister Qingyi. Have you been following me?" The fortuitous encounters of heaven and earth are obtained by those who are fated. Ji Qingyi was still aloof, her temperament unparalleled. Her face was covered with a veil, covering her beautiful face. Only a pair of eyes that reflected autumn water could be seen. She looked at Wang Chuan with a dignified expression. Wang Chuan's aura made her feel a little wary. Wang Chuan had just broken out of his seal, and his aura had yet to merge with the aura of this era. His cultivation was far from the peak. Even Princess Longji needed to go into seclusion for a period of time to completely adapt to the aura of this era. But even if Wang Chuan had not reached the peak, the faint pressure still made Ji Qingyi feel a little troubled. "This is," Ji Qingyi said. "Demon sect of Samsara, Wang Chuan." Wang Chuan stood with his hands behind his back, his expression calm. "Demon sect of Samsara." Ji Qingyi's eyes flashed. Demon sect of Samsara had long disappeared in the dust of history. However, Wang Chuan was still quite famous back then. After all, he had the Saint Samsara body and was one of the most brilliant geniuses of his era. Ji Qingyi's heart sank. She did not expect Xiao Maxian to find an ancient freak as an ally. In comparison, although Li Daoxuan's luck and strength were amazing, he was still a little immature compared to Wang Chuan. At this time, Li Daoxuan's gaze locked onto Wang Chuan. The reason for that was because he was able to faintly sense the world's origin energy being emitted from the Forgotten River's body. "You have the world's origin?" Li Daoxuan's eyes flashed. The River of Forgetfulness raised his eyebrows slightly. He had also sensed the surging world's origin energy within Li Daoxuan's body. Moreover, there was an additional aura that was stronger than his. This meant that there were 3 world essences in Li Daoxuan's body. Immediately, a strange look appeared in their eyes. They both wanted to obtain the other's world origin. "Hee, big sister Qingyi, this heroic spirit altar is extremely dangerous. If you aren't careful then you might die. Big sister, you shouldn't climb it." Xiao Maxian chuckled. Her words seemed to be out of consideration for Ji Qingyi. However, his true meaning was that he did not want Ji Qingyi to ascend the heroic spirit altar. The human immortal sect and the demon immortal sect were at odds with each other. She and Ji Qingyi were in a competitive relationship. Xiao Maxian naturally didn't want to see Ji Qingyi become stronger. "Xiao Maxian, these are also the words I wanted to say to you. It was impossible for Ji Qingyi to retreat. Instead, she confronted Xiao Maxian. The smell of gunpowder seemed to be spreading between heaven and earth. In the next moment, the four of them attacked at the same time. Chaos energy exploded around Li Daoxian. He stretched out his hand, causing the void to collapse inch by inch. He could also feel the river of forgetfulness's strength. Thus, he attacked with his full strength. He did not hold back like when he dealt with Yan Qingying. If Li Daoxian attacked with his full strength, his strength would be terrifying. His might would cause one to tremble in fear. Heavens, could that be the legendary Chaos Body? The surrounding geniuses cried out in alarm. The Chaos Body, even in the celestial realm, was a physique rarely seen in 10,000 years, much less in the lower realms. This was why it was so shocking. Chaos Body? Seeing Li Daoxian attack, a trace of surprise flashed in River of Forgetfulness's eyes. Although it was indeed primal chaos chi, he still felt that something was wrong. However, River of Forgetfulness didn't think too much about it. He also attacked. Even if Li Daoxian had the Chaos Body, for better or worse, he still had the Reincarnation Saint Body. Even if he couldn't crush the Chaos Body, he could at least contend with it. River of Forgetfulness also punched out a palm, carrying the power of samsara. Of these two people, one brazenly attacked, chaos energy filling the air. The other pushed out a palm, the power of samsara bursting forth. The two of them were like two needles against each other. The moment their bodies collided, endless ripples spread out. Ji Qingyi and Xiao Maxian also began their battle. Ji Qingyi flicked her jade-like hands, magic power surging and immortal light shining. It was as if the phantom of a female immortal had appeared behind her. As for Xiao Maxian, she was mischievous, like a witch. Demonic light burst forth from her hands. Her entire temperament changed, as if she were a witch that could charm all living beings. This strange charm was paired with her pure and beautiful face. She was a combination of innocence and charm. It was extremely moving. The celestial demon cult was rumored to be the legacy of a demonic immortal. Xiao Maxian had naturally inherited all sorts of peerless technique. As the two of them fought, it was extremely pleasing to the eye. They were like beautiful women dancing in the heavens. But compared to these two women, Li Daoxian and River of Forgetfulness's battle was much fiercer. Li Daoxian punched out, endless threads of chaos energy twined around his fist. Every wisp of energy was as heavy as a mountain, capable of crushing mountains. Chaos energy was one of the most powerful strengths in the world. It was enough to make one dread it. If it were any other proud child of heaven, their mortal body would explode if they were brushed by the chaos energy. But River of Forgetfulness was different. He possessed the samsara saint body and also controlled the power of samsara. This was also an extreme strength. The two of them fought until the void exploded and the world shook. Behind River of Forgetfulness, an illusory wheel appeared. It rolled through the air, its power overwhelming. Bang! With a loud bang, Li Daoxian was forced backwards, blood tumbling in his chest. In terms of foundation, he was still a bit inferior to River of Forgetfulness. To make a comparison, Li Daoxian was like a nouveau riche who had suddenly soared up because of a moment of destiny. River of Forgetfulness had accumulated for a long time and had a deep background. Just as Li Daoxian was about to use his strongest move, a light voice sounded out from the distance. "It's quite lively here." This voice seemed to have a strange magical power. It caused Ji Qingyi, Xiao Maxian, Li Daoxian, and River of Forgetfulness to stop what they were doing and turn their eyes. 4 figures appeared in the distance. It was Jun Xiaoyao's group of 4. Jun Xiaoyao's robes were whiter than snow. Celestial light lingered around him, and his temperament was transcendent. His eyes first fell on the heroic spirit altar in the distance, and then turned back to look at Li Daoxian and the others. "Brother Xiaoyao." As Ji Qingyi saw Jun Xiaoyao, her expression changed. But her attitude remained calm. On the other side, as Xiao Maxian saw Jun Xiaoyao, her mouth fell open. She was a bit stunned. As the saying goes, seeing is better than hearing 100 times. Only when one truly saw Jun Xiaoyao could they understand that the phrase peerless immortal was not a description, but a true portrayal of Jun Xiaoyao. Little big brother Xiaoyao is really so handsome. I love you. Xiao Maxian was stunned for a moment before regaining her senses. Her eyes shined with a brilliant light. You're Jun Xiaoyao. Li Daoxian frowned. Although he had always been disdainful of Jun Xiaoyao, now that he saw him for real, that temperament, that faint pressure, gave Li Daoxian a bad feeling. Forget Chuan also looked at Jun Xiaoyao. Although this was the first time he had seen him, he had heard about him many times from Xiao Maxian. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Li Daoxian and Luang Chuan. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth as he said, "It seems that the remaining origin of the world is with you too. Very well, I won't have to waste my time looking for it." Hearing this, a sharp light flashed in Li Daoxuan's eyes. As for Forget Chuan, her expression was calm. She said lightly, as expected of the son of God of the Jun family, "You talk big. But I have a question. Why didn't you wait until both of us were injured before you appeared?" He was competing with Li Daoxian. If Jun Xiaoyao had waited a little longer, he would have been able to benefit from the fight between the sandpiper and the clam. Wasn't it better to be the Oriole? Jun Xiaoyao laughed and shook his head. "I'm sorry, to deal with you, I can just sweep through you. Is there a need to go through so much trouble?" Jun Xiaoyao's words stunned everyone present. His attitude could no longer be described as arrogant. He didn't put any heaven-defying children, ancient freaks, or saintesses in his eyes at all. Jun Xiaoyao alone was enough to suppress anyone who refused to accept him. Chapter 257. Li Daoxian, River of Forgetfulness, Ji Qingyi, and Xiao Maxian were strong. The surrounding geniuses were well aware of this. If they went up, they absolutely wouldn't be a match for the four of them. But now Jun Xiaoyao had arrived and said such words, leaving everyone speechless. Even Ji Qingyi, who had seen Jun Xiaoyao's strength with her own eyes, frowned as she heard this. Jun Xiaoyao's words were a bit excessive. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't care if others believed him or not. This was because Jun Xiaoyao's principles were simple. I came, I saw, I conquered. It was that simple. You also have a world source on you, and more than one. Li Daoxian looked deeply at Jun Xiaoyao. He could naturally feel the aura of the world source on Jun Xiaoyao's body. Moreover, there were even more of it than him. This caused Li Daoxuan's heart to burn with passion. After all, his goal was to obtain the source of the 10 realms and become a heaven-defying king. River of Forgetfulness also looked at Jun Xiaoyao with interest. He had also been collecting world sources, but he had only collected 2. Originally, he wanted to obtain the world source on Li Daoxian. But now Jun Xiaoyao had arrived. He was simply overflowing with wealth. The world source on him was as much as the 2 of them combined. You want to obtain my world source? It looks like you'll be following in the footsteps of Yang Pan and Fahai. Jun Xiaoyao faintly smiled. Yang Pan and Fahai, Taoist brother Xiaoyao, what happened to them? Ji Qingyi asked. They died. I killed them. Jun Xiaoyao calmly said. Ji Qingyi's clear eyes rippled. Her heart was unsettled. Heavens! Little big brother Xiaoyao, you actually killed the Little Western Paradise's holy son and the Jin dynasty's marquis champion. Xiao Maxian covered her mouth, unable to help but cry out in alarm. These 2 weren't random people, but proud geniuses of immortal orthodoxies. Jun Xiaoyao even dared to casually kill them. It could be said that he was truly unscrupulous. Jun Xiaoyao did not say anything. He reached out his hand and suppressed Li Daoxian and Forget Chuan at the same time. He wanted to obtain the world origin from the 2 of them and gather all of it before ascending the martyr's altar. Li Daoxian and Wang Chuan had a cold look on their faces when they saw Jun Xiaoyao coming at them at the same time. Just how much did he look down on them? When Ji Qingyi saw this, her expression changed slightly. Li Daoxian was a genius that she recruited for the Ren immortal sect. If he died in the hands of Jun Xiaoyao, then all her efforts would be in vain. Just as Ji Qingyi was about to attack, Jiang Luoli flashed and blocked in front of her. The proud daughter of the Jiang clan. Ji Qingyi raised her eyebrows slightly. White Lotus, don't try to disturb Xiaoyao Gij. Jiang Luoli directly attacked. On the other side, Xiao Maxian's eyes turned. She turned around, wanting to head towards the martyr's altar. But in the blink of an eye, she was blocked by two figures. They were Yu and Yan Qingying. Little big brother, big sister, what are you doing? Xiao Maxian blinked her large eyes, a pure and innocent expression on her face. But Yu didn't fall for this. He indifferently said, "Before young master ascends the martyr's altar, no one is allowed to take a single step near it. You are too overbearing." Xiao Maxian pouted, frowning. Yu coldly snorted. Without any nonsense, he summoned the star execution destruction bow and shot an arrow at Xiao Maxian. He didn't show any mercy to Xiao Maxian just because she was pure and beautiful. To him, Jun Xiaoyao's interests were the most important. In an instant, a great battle erupted once more. The fluctuations were even more intense than before. As for the other prodigies who came here, they could only watch from afar. They couldn't participate in this battle at all, let alone approach the martyr's altar. The most intense battle was naturally Jun Xiaoyao's battle against Li Daoxian and River of Forgetfulness alone. Of these two people, one was the strongest heaven-defying child with the origin of chaos, and the other was an ancient freak of the demon sect of Samsara. Both of them had the strength to sweep through an area. It could be said that even in the celestial realm, these two people could bloom with glory and reach the peak of prodigies. Chaos body? Seeing the chaos aura surrounding Li Daoxuan's fist, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with surprise. He had heard by chance that a chaos body had appeared in the lower realms. At that time, Jun Xiaoyao had been puzzled. The chaos body, even in the celestial realm, was rare. Like the sacred body of the ancients, it was the rarest physique. How could it appear in the lower realms so casually? Even if the 10 realms were in chaos and fate was gathering, it would still be difficult to brew a chaos body that could suppress eternity. Now, after seeing this chaos body with his own eyes, Jun Xiaoyao's doubts were resolved. This was a fake and shoddy product. He could feel that there was a mass of chaotic energy in Li Daoxuan's body. That mass of chaotic energy was the source of his chaos aura. Could it be the origin of the world that contains the power of chaos? Jun Xiaoyao speculated. That was most likely the case. Chaos Sky-Splitting Seal. Li Daoxian used his ultimate move. He pushed his hands horizontally, revealing a terrifying divine seal surrounded by chaos aura. Wherever it passed, the void would shatter. The power of this move was extremely strong. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were calm. He punched out, accompanied by the shadow of a dragon elephant. Now, most of the granules of the giant elephant in Jun Xiaoyao's body had been transformed into dragon elephant granules. Every move of his was accompanied by the shadow of a dragon elephant. The dragon elephant was the symbol of great power. One punch could overturn heaven and earth, reverse the universe, control the sun and the moon, and pluck the stars. Boom! The golden fist light illuminated the sky and collided with the Chaos Sky-Splitting Seal. One punch. After destroying the Chaos Sky-Splitting Seal, the fist light did not lose momentum and smashed toward Li Daoxian. Li Daoxian hurriedly used his chaos aura to form a barrier to block, but he was still sent flying by that terrifying divine power. That was 3 billion pounds of divine power. It was simply beyond the imagination of his peers. Li Daoxian spat out blood. His eyes were filled with unprecedented shock. His strongest move had been broken by Jun Xiaoyao with one punch. This was unimaginable. On the other hand, Wang Chuan's eyes flashed. With his identity as an ancient freak, he was actually disdainful of joining forces with others to deal with Jun Xiaoyao. But after sensing the terrifying divine power that could shatter the heavens, Wang Chuan's expression turned grave. He was an ancient freak, but he was not a fool. Now was not the time to let his emotions affect his decisions. So Wang Chuan directly attacked. The power of reincarnation erupted, as if it was going to bring everything into the reincarnation void. The power of reincarnation? Jun Xiaoyao was slightly surprised. He was no stranger to the power of reincarnation. He had the reincarnation immortal seed, the 6 paths of reincarnation fist, and the paragon bone in his chest had a reincarnation divine power. He was very familiar with this power. So it's the sacred reincarnation constitution. After probing Wang Chuan's aura, Jun Xiaoyao understood. This was also a powerful constitution. It was ranked in the top 50 of the 3,000 constitutions. It was very high. Rumor had it that there was once a peerless powerhouse with the sacred reincarnation constitution who became a great emperor. With a raise of his hand, he could pull a world into endless reincarnation and annihilate billions of lives in an instant. But Jun Xiaoyao was not afraid. He was even a little happy, because he felt that if the paragon bone wanted to transform into a complete reincarnation divine power, Wang Chuan might be an opportunity. Chapter 258. Previously, Jun Xiaoyao had devoured Qin Hao's innate spirit bone after nirvana. However, the second ability of his supreme bone still hadn't evolved. It was still missing an opportunity. And now the opportunity had come. Jun Xiaoyao's chest, the supreme bone shone, and the black and white reincarnation nirvana light was refined. Seeing the black and white brilliance, Forget Chuan's expression finally changed. Supreme bone ability. Forget Chuan's heart trembled. Just the sacred body of the ancients was enough to shock everyone. Now with the addition of the supreme bone, his talent was simply amazing. No wonder Xiao Maxian was so naggy before, saying how strong Jun Xiaoyao was. Forget Chuan didn't think much of it at that time, but now he experienced it. What surprised him even more was that Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone also had the power of reincarnation. Fortunately, Forget Chuan had the sacred body of reincarnation, so he didn't have to be too afraid of the power of reincarnation. Next, Forget Chuan also made his move, using the power of reincarnation to resist. The two of them immediately engaged in a fierce battle. Forget Chuan's realm was the Nirvana realm, far higher than Jun Xiaoyao's. However, he couldn't suppress Jun Xiaoyao. For a genius like Jun Xiaoyao, fighting beyond his realm was as easy as eating and drinking. In the fight between the two, Jun Xiaoyao didn't use any of his trump cards. Instead, he was familiarizing himself with Forget Chuan's power of reincarnation. He wanted to get the opportunity and inspiration from Forget Chuan to completely transform his supreme bone. Forget Chuan also saw through Jun Xiaoyao's intentions at a glance. He said coldly, "You want to use me as a whetstone to transform your supreme bone's reincarnation ability?" Jun Xiaoyao smiled and didn't say anything. Even if Forget Chuan knew his intentions, so what? Could he just give up? Forget Chuan's expression was cold. He couldn't bear to become someone else's whetstone. Therefore, Forget Chuan used his trump card. Behind him, a blurry phantom of a wheel appeared. In an instant, the world was in chaos, and the endless power of reincarnation spread. Seeing this, Li Daoxuan's eyes were filled with fear. Just now, Wang Chuan had relied on that illusory wheel to injure him. But now, the river of forgetfulness was not simply summoning a shadow, but had completely refined his divine weapon. A roulette completely appeared behind him. As the wheel spun, it was as if it could crush the heavens and earth. On the roulette there were carvings of the 6 paths of life. That's... Jun Xiaoyao's eyes narrowed. That roulette actually possessed a trace of the charm of an imperial armament. The divine weapon Wang Chuan had summoned was none other than the reincarnation demon Sek's imperial weapon, a replica of the 6 paths of reincarnation disc. Although the lesser 6 paths of reincarnation disc couldn't be compared to the real 6 paths of reincarnation disc, it was still a supreme weapon. Back then, Wang Chuan was the strongest prodigy of the reincarnation sect. That was why the reincarnation sect had bestowed the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc to him as a personal weapon. When Wang Chuan summoned the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc, he was like a tiger that had grown wings. The power of reincarnation rampaged through the heavens and earth. This aura even affected Ji Qingyi, Xiao Maxian, Jiang Luoli, Yu, and the others. They all felt an extreme sense of danger, as if they would be pulled into reincarnation in the next moment. So strong. Li Daoxuan's expression was somewhat ugly, and his eyes were filled with extreme fear. He had to admit that in terms of accumulation, he was completely incomparable to Wang Chuan, Jun Xiaoyao, and the others. At most, he could only be considered a nouveau riche. Big Brother Xiaoyao, feeling the aura of the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc, Jiang Luoli's pretty face changed slightly. However, when she thought of Jun Xiaoyao's invincible appearance that swept through everything, her heart slowly calmed down. In this world, no one of the same generation as Jun Xiaoyao had appeared yet. Even an ancient freak couldn't suppress Jun Xiaoyao. Seeing Wang Chuan bring the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc over to suppress him, Jun Xiaoyao revealed a faint smile. Wang Chuan was simply a good person. His actions were undoubtedly helping Jun Xiaoyao understand the true meaning of reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao didn't use Pan Huang's 3 swords because he still needed to comprehend it. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao took out the Saint King Annihilation Overlord glove and wore it on his right hand. He punched out, bringing with it tens of thousands of golden divine lights. Dragon and elephant phantoms burst forth, accompanying him from left and right, pushing through the void for tens of thousands of miles. Clang! The gloves mixed with purple divine marks collided with the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc, bursting out with astonishing fluctuations that swept through heaven and earth. Jun Xiaoyao blocked Wang Chuan's attack while comprehending the true meaning of reincarnation. There was nothing better to comprehend the true meaning of reincarnation than fighting against the reincarnation saint physique. The light in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes became brighter and brighter. A blazing brilliance began to coil around his chest, and the true meaning of reincarnation spread out. Jun Xiaoyao, don't even think about it. Wang Chuan's expression turned cold when he saw Jun Xiaoyao using him to sharpen his blade. He controlled the 6 paths of reincarnation disc and unleashed an extremely powerful attack. 6 paths of reincarnation, complete destruction of heaven and earth. Rumble! The 6 paths of reincarnation disc covered the heavens, obliterating the void as it pressed down on Jun Xiaoyao. One had to admit that Wang Chuan was very strong. As an ancient freak, his strength was actually not much weaker than Zulong's Princess Longji. It was just that his aura had yet to completely merge with the current aura of heaven and earth, so he couldn't fully unleash his strength. Even so, that might was enough to make one tremble in fear. Seeing the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc pressing down on him, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were calm and his expression was calm. He punched out, using his supreme fist technique, the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. 6 terrifying reincarnation vortexes appeared, as if all living beings of the 6 paths were sitting cross-legged. The fist light shocked the world, exploding heaven and earth. With the addition of 3 billion kilograms of divine power, this punch was simply too powerful. Boom! Accompanied by a violent explosion, the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc, which was the size of an island in the sky, was directly sent flying. Wang Chuan was also affected. The blood in his chest churned, and his expression was filled with shock. That fist technique that contained the power of reincarnation made him very envious while at the same time he was shocked. Blazing brilliance appeared on Jun Xiaoyao's chest. He took out the reincarnation fairy seed again. The entire reincarnation fairy seed merged with Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone in his chest. Then, black and white brilliance burst out from Jun Xiaoyao's chest, intertwining with each other to form a wheel. Accompanied by the appearance of the black and white wheel, the void seemed to be boiling. The second great superpower of Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone, the reincarnation disc, had finally been completely transformed. Until now, Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone had a total of 4 great superpowers. Among the God superpowers, there was the incomplete light of God tribulation and the complete hand of God. Among the reincarnation superpowers, there was the incomplete light of reincarnation and the complete reincarnation disc. Wang Chuan, it seems that I, the Son of God, have to thank you. Next, it's time for me, the Son of God, to repay you. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. The repayment that he spoke of was naturally not a real repayment. Now that his supreme bone had successfully transformed, he naturally did not need to be entangled with Wang Chuan anymore. He wore the Annihilation Overlord Sage King Glove and used the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. At the same time, the supreme bone in his chest released the reincarnation disc. Golden divine light surged between his eyebrows, and the Origin Emperor Dao's sword broke through the air. Jun Xiaoyao used all his powerful moves to forcefully suppress Wang Chuan and seize the world's origin. Chapter 259. If Jun Xiaoyao fought seriously, his power could be imagined. Even ancient freaks would tremble in fear. For example, when Wang Chuan saw Jun Xiaoyao coming at him, his expression changed. The various divine abilities caused his expression to change drastically. He activated the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc and forcefully resisted the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. But the supreme bone's ability, the reincarnation disc, came at him again. That power was not much weaker than the power of reincarnation displayed by the minor 6 paths of reincarnation disc. Boom, boom, boom. A violent explosion erupted, and Wang Chuan was forced to retreat. His strength had yet to return to its peak, and facing Jun Xiaoyao's full suppression, it was naturally difficult for him to completely resist. Golden divine chains of order tore through the air and turned into a golden short sword. It was the primitive Emperor Dao sword. When the sword was unleashed, it was as if it had split open the void and pierced towards Wang Chuan's head. Wang Chuan activated the power of reincarnation, and many reincarnation vortexes appeared on the surface of his body, suppressing and wearing down the primitive Emperor Dao sword. Jun Xiaoyao extended the demon wings behind his back, and with a flap of his wings, he flew toward Wang Chuan at extreme speed. He grabbed the void with one hand, and the spear of the underworld condensed and pierced toward Wang Chuan. Wang Chuan raised his hand and slapped, and the power of reincarnation surged. This was one of his most powerful abilities, called the Great Reincarnation Palm, and it suppressed everything. Boom! The Great Reincarnation Palm collided with the spear of the underworld and directly shattered it. Jun Xiaoyao once again used the Devouring God demonic technique, and a pitch-black devouring vortex appeared and directly devoured the Great Reincarnation Palm. Then, Jun Xiaoyao swept his leg toward Wang Chuan. Wang Chuan blocked with his arm. There was a loud bang. Wang Chuan was sent flying, and he spat out a small mouthful of blood. You should be proud to be able to withstand so many moves from me. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm as he suppressed again. Wang Chuan missed the opportunity to take the initiative. He retreated one step, then another. After a series of moves, Wang Chuan kept coughing up blood, and his black hair was messy. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and grabbed out. The suction force of the god-devouring demonic art erupted, forcibly pulling the world's origin out of the river of forgetfulness. In an instant, 2 balls of world origin were pulled out, emitting a powerful origin power. Damn it! Wang Chuan's expression darkened. In his era, he had defeated all his enemies and had never tasted defeat. No matter how strong the heaven's favorite was, the most they could do was tie with him. It could be said that Wang Chuan had never been in such a sorry state before. Although part of the reason was that he had yet to recover to his peak state. However, Wang Chuan faintly felt that even if he recovered to his peak condition, he might not be able to suppress Jun Xiaoyao. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to reach out and grab the two balls of world origin, a chaotic palm print came crashing down. "Heh, idiot!" Jun Xiaoyao struck out with a backhand punch, directly dispersing the chaotic palm print. Li Daoxuan's eyes burned with passion as he looked at the two world essences. In a flash, he was about to snatch them. For him, the strongest and most heaven-defying sun, the world origins were more important than anything else. If he could gather all the 10 realms' origins, he would become a heaven-defying king. By then, no legendary heaven's favorite would be able to compare to him. So after seeing these two balls of world origins, Li Daoxian could not hold back and wanted to snatch them no matter what. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. With a raise of his hand, dragon qi erupted, and a lifelike true dragon rushed toward Li Daoxian. It was the true dragon heaven imprisonment technique. Seeing this, Li Daoxian pushed his chaos origin power to the extreme. With a punch, countless chaos qi exploded in the void. Every wisp of chaos qi could crush a mountain. Boom! The moves collided, and the sky fell and the earth cracked. That powerful rebounding force made Li Daoxian retreat repeatedly. Even Wang Chuan, an ancient freak, could not block Jun Xiaoyao's attack, let alone Li Daoxian, who had a weaker foundation. Even if he was blessed with luck and extraordinary talent, it also depended on who he was facing. In front of a supreme heaven's favorite like Jun Xiaoyao who had a cheat, Li Daoxuan's cheat was nothing at all. "Since you've delivered yourself to me, then I, son of God, won't be polite." Jun Xiaoyao activated the god-swallowing demon art again, wanting to extract the 3 world origins from Li Daoxuan's body. "No, Fairy Qing Yi, help me!" Li Daoxian felt a terrifying suction force that wanted to suck out the world origins from his body. Finally, a trace of fear appeared on his face. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was like a supreme ruler that ruled over everything. No one could resist him. On the other side, Ji Qing Yi felt very tired as she saw Li Daoxian in such a sorry state. It was not easy to recruit the strongest heaven-defying son. In the end, he was a fool who overestimated himself. Ji Qing Yi was also helpless. Moreover, Jiang Luoli was also pestering her, making it impossible for her to help Li Daoxian. Therefore, Ji Qing Yi could only sigh and say, "Brother Xiaoyao, I wonder if you can show mercy?" Hearing this, Xiao Maxian was surprised to the extreme. She knew very well how cold and arrogant her mortal enemy was. She looked down on ordinary peerless geniuses, let alone showing weakness like this. Perhaps only in front of Jun Xiaoyao would Ji Qing Yi lower herself. Jun Xiaoyao's expression did not change. If it were other male geniuses, hearing Ji Qing Yi's request to show weakness, they would most likely be soft-hearted and show mercy. But Jun Xiaoyao was different. He had to obtain the 10 realms world origins. Even putting aside the 10 realms world origins, Li Daoxian had snatched Yan Qingying's darkness immortal seed and had already formed a grudge. If he did not kill such a person, was he going to keep him alive for the new year? Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao turned a blind eye to Ji Qing Yi's request. He did not even bother to reply. He punched out, divine power surging, and a golden divine elephant came crashing down. Puff! All the bones in Li Daoxuan's body shattered. He spat out blood, and his eyeballs seemed to be squeezed out. Jun Xiaoyao. Li Daoxian coughed up blood mixed with his shattered organs. Jun Xiaoyao showed no mercy. He raised his hand and grabbed. The 3 world origins were forcefully stripped away. "No!" Li Daoxian roared, his eyes bloodshot. The only thing he could rely on was the world origins' power. Without the world origins, he was nothing. He could not even control the power of chaos. Jun Xiaoyao stepped on Li Daoxuan's chest. The powerful vibrating force directly turned Li Daoxuan's internal organs into minced meat. The strongest heaven-defying child of the lower realms, Li Daoxian, had fallen. Seeing Li Daoxian being trampled to death by Jun Xiaoyao, all the geniuses present were silent. This kind of crushing slaughter was too shocking, and it made everyone's eyeballs pop out. Ji Qingyi shook her head helplessly. She could not fight to the death with Jun Xiaoyao because of a dead Li Daoxian. That was not realistic. Jun Xiaoyao waved one hand, and the three-world origins in Li Daoxuan's body appeared. In addition, the dark immortal seed also appeared. Jun Xiaoyao directly threw it to Yan Qingying. Yan Qingying looked grateful. Finally, they're all gathered. The 10 lands of the lower realms, the 10 realms' origins, had finally fallen into Jun Xiaoyao's hands. Previously, Li Daoxian wanted to collect the 10 realms' origins and become the heaven-defying king. Now, the 10 realms' origins were in Jun Xiaoyao's hands. Jun Xiaoyao's aptitude was already unparalleled. If he were to be augmented with the power of the origin of the 10 realms, it would mean that all the power and fortune of the unparalleled king would be bestowed upon him. Then, what kind of heaven-defying existence would Jun Xiaoyao become? He would probably become an anomaly in the world, a heaven-defying existence that even the heavens could not tolerate. Chapter 260. At this time, the 5 world sources within Jun Xiaoyao's body also involuntarily appeared. For a time, the world sources of the lower realms' 10 worlds all revolved around Jun Xiaoyao. In contrast, Jun Xiaoyao was like a transcendent divine king, an immortal king of the immortal world. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was like the only god in the heavens and earth. The scene before them was deeply engraved in the eyes of everyone present. Let alone the lower realm elites, all of them froze where they were, as if they had been petrified. Even their breathing seemed to stop. Even Ji Qingyi, Xiao Maxian, and the other saintesses of the immortal sex who were used to such grand scenes felt a faint sense of suffocation. This was because Jun Xiaoyao's aura was far too transcendent at this time. Forget Creek's eyes were dignified like never before. His invincible Tao heart was also covered with a shadow. This was normal. If it were anyone else, they would have been sealed away for countless years. After being reborn, they would have thought that they would be able to sweep away all the geniuses of their generation. But not long after coming out, they would suffer a heavy blow. If it were anyone else, their Tao heart would be affected and they wouldn't be able to remain calm. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes swept over Forget Creek, Ji Qingyi, and Xiao Maxian. Forget Creek was on high alert, her eyes dignified. Ji Qingyi gently sighed. She didn't continue fighting with Jiang Luoli to express her attitude. As for Xiao Maxian, she also gave up on fighting. Jun Xiaoyao was far stronger than she had imagined, far more monstrous than she had imagined. Little big brother Xiaoyao, I haven't offended you too much, so please don't attack me. I'm still young and my body is weak. I can't withstand such intense devastation. Xiao Maxian pitifully blinked her eyes, beginning to show weakness. Jiang Luoli glared at Xiao Maxian. Why did she feel that there was something wrong with these words? Seeing Jiang Luoli glare at her, Xiao Maxian revealed a mischievous grin and glared back at Jiang Luoli. The two Lolas glared at each other, not liking each other at all. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about Xiao Maxian. Instead, he looked towards Forget Creek. The only one present who was hostile towards him was probably Wang Chuan. Wang Chuan's figure unconsciously retreated a couple steps, her expression extremely guarded, her expression as calm as water. Although he really wanted to obtain the origin of the 10 realms from Jun Xiaoyao, he knew that it was simply unrealistic. Even if he recovered to his peak state, it would not be an easy task to suppress Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Indeed, he wanted to end this once and for all and get rid of the river of forgetfulness. Right at this moment, the martyr's altar in the distance seemed to have undergone some sort of change due to the simultaneous appearance of the quintessence of the 10 worlds. An unusual aura emerged. The martyr's altar is changing, Jun Xiaoyao muttered. He was very decisive and directly flew towards the heroic spirit altar. The heroic spirit altar was the most important matter. In comparison, dealing with the river of forgetfulness was not that important. In any case, he could not do anything. Moreover, one couldn't forget that Jun Xiaoyao still had a chance to sign in at the martyr's altar. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao fly towards the martyr's altar, Yan Qingying and Jiang Luoli also followed close behind. Ji Qingyi hesitated for a moment and then also turned into a blue beam of light that flew over. Xiao Maxian's eyes turned. She winked at Forget Creek and then also flew towards the martyr's altar. Forget Creek was a bit hesitant. But, wasn't the greatest lucky chance that he had slumbered in the lower realms? It was impossible for him to give up. After making up his mind, Forget Creek also flew over. Then, the surrounding proud children of heaven swarmed towards the martyr's altar. It was only when they approached the martyr's altar that Jun Xiaoyao discovered something. Just how ancient and grand was this altar? Looking around, it was like an ancient mountain, towering and majestic, exuding an ancient and desolate aura. And what was most shocking was that on top of the altar, there were endless white skeletons. Even after so many years, these skeletons were still as hard as iron. Some of the skeletons were as warm as jade, and some of them were as radiant as gold. From this, it could be seen that these skeletons were all extremely powerful individuals with special constitutions when they were alive. But they had all perished on the martyr's altar. From this, it could be seen that this was a land of lucky chances as well as a burial ground. Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He sighed and said, "Time is like a blade that cuts down proud children of heaven. On the road to immortality, if one doesn't affirm their Tao and become an emperor, they will become nothing more than a skeleton." Countless heroes from ancient times to modern times had all been laughed at. This martyr's altar was only a miniature version of that. Compared to this place, the emperor's road was far crueler. That was a true road paved with corpses. Only a true peerless proud child of heaven could reach the end. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's sigh, Jiang Luoli, and the others were also touched. Jun Xiaoyao did not hesitate and directly stepped onto the martyr's altar. The moment he stepped onto the first step, the entire altar surged with wind and clouds. It was as if countless silhouettes of ancient heroes had appeared, and all kinds of scenes were revealed. The aura here became extremely special. Countless demonic sounds pierced one's ears and disturbed one's mind. Jun Xiaoyao was not affected. He concealed his spirit and qi and began to step onto the altar. Following his footsteps, Jiang Luoli, and Yan Qingying also stepped onto the altar. When they saw Jun Xiaoyao step onto the altar step by step, they thought it would not be a difficult task. However, when they really stepped onto the altar, Jiang Luoli, and the others' expressions changed. That terrifying pressure almost made them kneel on the ground. At the same time, there were countless silhouettes of ancient heroes disturbing them. Demonic sounds pierced their ears and disturbed their minds, making it difficult for them to completely calm down. Is it that terrifying? Jiang Luoli's face paled. She hurriedly stimulated her primordial spirit Tao body, and felt a little better. However, the more this was so, the more it contrasted with Jun Xiaoyao's peerless and transcendent aura. Jun Xiaoyao stepped onto the altar step by step. Although he wasn't fast, he wasn't slow either. He maintained his own rhythm. Is it that exaggerated? Xiao Maxian muttered as she saw the performance of Jiang Luoli, and the others. She didn't believe this and also stepped onto the altar. The moment she took a step forward, her pure and charming little face instantly changed color. She staggered and nearly fell flat on her face. Seeing Xiao Maxian's performance, Ji Qingyi and Forget Chuan had prepared themselves in advance. But as they stepped onto the altar, they couldn't help but pale. Just as they stepped onto the martyr's altar, there was already such a terrifying pressure. It was hard to imagine how strong that pressure would become in the future. Ji Qingyi turned her gaze back to Jun Xiaoyao, who was walking with steady steps and a calm expression on his face. Sometimes, the disparity between people was reflected in this. Jun Xiaoyao, in this world, is there anything that can stump you or move you? Ji Qingyi sighed inwardly. To be born in the same era as a peerless proud son of heaven like Jun Xiaoyao, this was both a blessing and a sorrow. What was fortunate was that the proud sons of heaven of this era were able to personally witness the birth of a living legend. What was sorrowful was that the proud sons of heaven of this era could only forever live in the shadow of this legend, like an unremarkable star beside the sun. Chapter 261. The entire martyr spirit altar had 1,000 steps. Every time one climbed a step, the pressure would increase and there would be all sorts of disturbances. At the moment, Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who was able to maintain a constant speed without stopping. As for Ji Qingyi, River of Forgetfulness, Xiao Maxian, Jiang Luoli, Yu, Yan Qingying, and the others, they were slowly climbing up. They might even need to rest in between. As for those remaining, they were the other proud children of heaven. It was impossible for them to let go of this lucky chance. However, Ji Qingyi, River of Forgetfulness, Jiang Luoli, and Yan Qingying were either saintesses of large sects, ancient freaks, noble daughters of aristocratic families, or heaven-defying children. In comparison, the remaining proud children of heaven were far too weak. Stepping onto the martyr spirit altar was as difficult as climbing a mountain. There were even some proud children of heaven who couldn't control their emotions. They began to crazily laugh and cry, as if they had gone mad. These were the phantoms of the ancient heroes, as well as the demonic sounds that filled their ears, causing them to go crazy. There were many proud children of heaven like this. Besides a small number of proud children of heaven with firm wills, most of them couldn't hold on any longer and began to go crazy. Ha ha ha, I am the #1 person since ancient times. Who can defeat me? A proud child of heaven crazily laughed. But in the next moment, his head exploded like a watermelon. The scene was bloody to the extreme. I got it. I obtained the immortal inheritance. Another proud child of heaven's eyes turned blood red, revealing an ecstatic expression. But in the next moment, it was like he had been struck by lightning. He fell to the ground and lost all signs of life. This was extremely strange, causing many people's hair to stand on end. Some proud children of heaven paled. They couldn't help but feel fear in their hearts and wanted to retreat from the altar. But to their horror, they discovered that they couldn't turn back. At this time, at the top of the altar, an ancient and ethereal voice seemed to faintly echo out. Once the bow is drawn, there is no turning back. There is no turning back on the road of proving one's Tao. Hearing this voice, the proud children of heaven felt extreme regret. If they knew that the martyr spirit altar was so strange, they definitely wouldn't have stepped onto it so easily. But now they had no other choice. They could only brace themselves and go up. If he really couldn't ascend, he would sit cross-legged on the spot and comprehend, hoping to gain some benefits. The Sky Prides looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who was standing at the front with envy in their eyes. Jun Xiaoyao had completely exceeded their imaginations. Perhaps he was the synonym of strength. When Wang Chuan saw this scene, she felt unreconciled. As an ancient freak, he naturally had his own pride. Since he might not be able to defeat Zhang Xian in a fight, how could he not be able to defeat Zhang Xian on the altar? The River of Forgetfulness activated the power of the reincarnation sacred body. At the same time, the 6 paths of reincarnation disc appeared behind her. His aura immediately changed. Like a valiant true dragon, he began to speed up. Wang Chuan's actions also attracted the attention of others. Ji Qingyi shook her head. In her eyes, Wang Chuan's actions were nothing more than a battle of personal feelings. Now was not the time to play the hero. Yu and Yan Qingying sneered when they saw this. In their eyes, Jun Xiaoyao was an invincible existence. Wang Chuan wanted to win back some ground here, but it was obviously a little naive. However, at this moment, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly stopped in his tracks. This made many people look at him with strange expressions. Jun Xiaoyao maintained his position as number one all the while, leaving everyone else far behind. But now, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. It was puzzling. Finally can't hold on any longer? Wang Chuan's eyes flashed. In her opinion, Jun Xiaoyao's previous performance was probably just him holding on. After holding on for so long, he finally couldn't take it anymore. Just as the others were either surprised, puzzled, or worried. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had a look of delight in his eyes. The reason why he stopped was naturally not because he couldn't hold on any longer as Wang Chuan thought. Instead, a system notification sounded in his mind. Host has reached the sign-in location, the Altar of Heroes. Do you want to sign in? Sign in, Jun Xiaoyao said silently. He didn't know what good things he could get by signing in at the Altar of Heroes. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 7-star reward, Tu Shi Ancient Emperor Flame. As the system's voice fell, in Jun Xiaoyao's body, a fire seed suddenly appeared. This fire seed was colorful, as if it was formed by countless divine flames, emitting a terrifying aura that could burn all the worlds. Tu Shi Ancient Emperor Flame? Jun Xiaoyao was surprised at first, then he was happy. The importance of a fire seed to a cultivator was not much less than that of an immortal seed. Because after the Tao integration realm was the Nirvana realm. And the most important thing in the Nirvana realm was to find a fire seed, Nirvana oneself, and turn the divine palace true spirit into a small primordial spirit. This was a comprehensive transformation from the physical body to the soul level, and it was a crucial step in cultivation. And the importance of a fire seed could be seen. The stronger the fire seed, the more it could completely transform the cultivator and be reborn from the ashes. Previously, EU had obtained a rare Xianyang divine fire, which was already an extremely high-grade fire seed. However, that Xianyang divine fire could not be compared to the Tu Shi Ancient Emperor Flame in front of him. That was because that was a divine fire, and this was an imperial fire. The Tu Shi Ancient Emperor Flame seemed to be the strongest imperial fire formed by gathering all kinds of flames, and it could bring the cultivator the ultimate nirvana. Of course, the difficulty of nirvana would also be greatly increased. What a coincidence! I only wanted to break through to the Tao integration realm on the Altar of Heroes, but now it seems that I might be able to break through to the nirvana realm directly. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a faint smile. Even in the Jun family, there was probably no fire seed of a higher grade than the Tu Shi Ancient Emperor Flame. This fire seed was the most suitable for Jun Xiaoyao to achieve nirvana. Brother Xiaoyao, are you okay? Seeing that Jun Xiaoyao had been standing still in the same place, even Jiang Luoli, who was very confident in him, felt a little nervous and could not help but call out to him. Jun Xiaoyao came back to his senses and finally moved. However, this time, he did not climb alone. Instead, he waved his hand. The terrifying golden blood of the sacred body of the ancients swept out, resisting the terrifying pressure of the Altar of Heroes. When Jun Xiaoyao released his aura, Jiang Luoli, EU, and Yan Qingying were surprised to find that the pressure on them had decreased by more than half. Jiang Luoli was stunned at first, and then her eyes shone with unprecedented brilliance. Her climbing speed increased, and the gap between her and the others widened. EU and Yan Qingying also looked happy. They cupped their hands at Jun Xiaoyao and said, "Thank you, young master." After saying that, they also increased their speed. Seeing this, Wang Chuan's heart shook violently. Her entire body seemed to have turned into wood. Jun Xiaoyao was monstrous by himself, and now he could even take others with him. Was there any justice in this world? Even Xiao Maxian was left dumbfounded. Just a moment ago, Jiang Luoli was on the same level as her, but now she had left her far behind. Xiao Maxian could not accept this. The difference was too great. As the saintess of the celestial demon cult, Her status and strength were not inferior to Jiang Luli's. But now, she was lagging behind. She felt very unbalanced. Thinking of this, Xiao Maxian cried out, "Little brother Xiaoyao, take me with you." Jun Xiaoyao ignored this demoness. Don't be fooled by her pure and charming appearance. As the saintess of the celestial demon cult, she had cheated many people. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's indifference, Xiao Maxian said something shocking again. "Little brother Xiaoyao, don't ignore me. I live well and can do any position,